Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the, wow, I almost said Strike Force Damage Control podcast for some reason, but it's actually the Ravager Report. I am your host, Dorian, and with me tonight is, as always, the mighty Hebrew Hammer.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, not much. And the reason why I kind of slipped back into the past is we are joined by a very special guest host tonight, the infamous Muggin. Muggin, how you been, brother?
What's up? Been good, man. Keep it busy.
Good. That's awesome. How are the wife and kids?
The children's are good. The wife is good. The 12-month-old is sleeping. That's a benefit of her being sleep trained almost already, so that's good.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy around here with an extra baby running around. Well, I guess sitting there, kind of unable to do anything by herself, but.
Thank God I haven't had to go through that yet. It sounds terrible.
Nah, man. So it's funny. So quick sidebar. You think the beginning times when they're not sleeping, and you know the followed by potty training, followed by it's not the terrible twos, it's the terrible threes. You know, those are the good times, man. Because then they start talking, and they start talking back, and then they start developing minds of their own. And I love my kids very much, but sometimes I really miss the really young days.
Yeah, my 5-year-old can definitely tell you no. His favorite word is no, never, and I cannot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want that.
So, man, we're really excited to have you. It was a huge surprise. I did not know Muggin was coming. It kind of jumped on me. Like, you know, right before we started broadcasting, Hebrew was like, "Hey, a special guest." Yay! So,
I'm probably going to include that in. I'll edit that in beforehand.
That's awesome. That'll be spectacular. Yeah. Anyway, if you're a first-time listener, welcome to the show. If you do like what you hear, we do have a Patreon site set up. You can find us at patreon.com/Ravager Report, where we have all kinds of tiers starting at $2 all the way up to $20. We are thinking about adding some extra special ones for a $50 tier. I may give you access to my account and tell me who to work on for a full month. So if that's what you would like to do, let us know if that's something you'd be interested in. We might be able to get Hebrew in on that one too. So that would definitely be interesting. I'm serious, man. Hey, look, I am as of this week, I am in this just for fun now. I'm just straight for fun. And we'll get to that a little bit later. But so if you do like what you hear and you'd like to support our show, because we can't do, you know, I mean, we can, but you know, we appreciate it. And you can find us at patreon.com/Ravager Report. You know what? I really need to write that out someday so that I can read off the script or something. So before we get into the news of the week, or the Datamine and everything else, let's talk about what we've done this past week. So, Hebrew, what have you been up to?
Not much. God, I always feel like the worst person in the world whenever this hits me. Because I realize that I've done so little.
That's why I write it down.
So just, yep. I do usually think of right afterwards, I think of oh, I did do this. This was good. But for right now, of course, again, nothing special, just classes, getting ready for Christmas. Put up my Christmas tree the other day, so that was kind of fun and also annoying because it's a bit. I'm on the 4th floor of my apartment complex, so it's kind of a pain to bring it from my storage room up. So that was annoying, but got all that stuff set up. I'm ready for Christmas, and I'm also having to empty my pockets not only for Christmas gifts, but for recently getting ready for the Brotherhood event. But now I should have some extra change in my pocket since I'm no longer spending on this game, which we'll get to later. But that's about it for out of game. In game, just as I mentioned, I've been working on Brotherhood. I am about 30 shards away from getting Pyro. I might get him I'm about to get an orb from the fragment thing that you get doing the blitz. So we'll see what I get with that. If I get enough to get him to 5 stars with that, if I get a lucky drop, I'm done. I'm not doing another blitz for Pyro. But I am at like I think it's like 1.7, 1.8, something like that right now. So I'm on track to get in the top 1500, but it's a pain. I'm setting alarms constantly. It's super annoying. I have to figure out ways to try to sneak it in. Granted, it's going over the weekend now, so I don't have to worry about doing it during class. But so overall, it's a pain, and I hate blitzes. But yeah, other than that, that's about it. Besides the stuff that we're going to get into later. So, what about you?
So I have been working on. Well, so we had kind of a small family crisis this week. That I'm not going to go into on the air. I actually need to talk to you guys about afterwards. Or yeah. So let's just say people suck. But it's been kind of good because it's drawn my family closer together. So, kind of a trial, but at the same time, one of those things where, you kind of come together over it. So that's been good. In game, so I finally hit level 70 this week, which was cool. I immediately leveled up like 2 people because I only happen to have maybe 1 million, and it's freaking expensive to just gear them up. And gold. I'm still farming my defenders. However, I'm not gearing them anymore. I'm probably I'll work on Daredevil a little bit because I kind of want to see what he's like, getting him to 12 and possibly 13. But other than that, I have decided to start working on some of my downstream blitz teams just to have fun. So my current 2 projects are Ant-Man and Wasp. And I actually sent some. I actually sent some pictures in today. My Ant-Man is at 28.5k power. He's a level. He's 664 on his abilities. He's level 67. I'm working on getting him up, and he's 7-star. And then Wasp, she's a little bit further down. She's only 21k power. Oh, nope. She is now 6664 as well, because I just did that. Well, hey, look, her passive is as good as Spider-Man's.
Look, they're both decent characters, that's for sure. And if you put them in the right team, they can be really good. But there's just a lot. For what you're doing, I know what you're doing, and we're going to get into that later. So it makes sense,
right?
But yeah, it's just funny how in right now during the time where there's so much like meta team, it's funny that you're just like off in the distance chasing butterflies somewhere.
Hey, you know what though? You know what? And Muggin will tell you, I've been chasing butterflies since I've been playing the game, and look who's laughing.
Yeah.
Look who's laughing.
You got to laugh. You got to laugh once. No.
I got to laugh twice.
What was?
I got to laugh
time?
Twice.
What was
Thanos.
Oh, Thanos. I mean, Thanos was still good though. Before,
right? But his passive. I did his passive before they changed it to Cosmic.
Yeah,
I did his passive when it was still Black Order. So, ladies and gentlemen, do not take his advice. Work on Vision. And then this. I was waiting for you to get that one. And so today I have decided to pick up a new pet project other than the I'm going to be working on Venom for this team that I'm working on, but I'm officially going to start working on AIM. I'm going to start working on AIM.
I catching butterflies first, but that's just me.
I like Scientist Supreme. I like what her kit does. It's weird. It's weird because it gives you negative effects and then turns them positive if you survive. If you survive.
I know what you mean. I like the idea of it in concept. It was poorly executed in the game, but I like the concept of it. It's just I know what Muggin's thinking of, and that's since we know Red Skull's in the game, we don't really have a nice end game situation for AIM right now. Hopefully, it's going to be MODOK, but
right. And look, Fox Next has said at some point, and they may stick to that, who knows, that they want every character in the game to have a purpose, that you use them for something. And currently, Hydra and AIM are 2 that you don't use for anything. Now, I see your point for Hydra, and I agree with you. And we actually have we'll talk about that a bit more later as well. But I already have all the AIM unlocked.
Yeah, that would shock me.
I may have Hydra. I didn't have Scientist Supreme. I mean, I've got her node unlocked, but I mean, honestly, who really farms the Scientist Supreme node?
Yeah, I assumed you would have.
Well, apparently you do.
No. Actually, I got her in. I think it was an Ultimus Orb was what I finally got.
I know, but you're gonna farm her now.
Well, absolutely.
Oh, God. Muggin, how many? Just out of curiosity, since when did you start in beta? Did you start like right at the beginning, or like a little bit?
2 days before Android beta, but then I didn't play for like a week and a half or 2 weeks, and then I got into it pretty good, which is probably why I don't have a 7-star Black Widow, because I missed the Black Widow blitzes. But
okay. Well, then how many shards? How many shards does your Scientist Supreme have?
79 out of 80. She's 3-star, 1 away from 4-star.
Okay. And what about yours?
She is 1 of 80.
Now my aim monstrosity is 223 out of 80. Just saying.
Oh my gosh.
My monstrosity is 268 out of 80.
All right, I'm gonna have to check this out for mine. Mine's loading up right now.
Oh wait! I'm sorry. He is now 4-star, 188 of 130.
188 of 130.
Yep, because I started him up while we were talking.
Oh boy. Well, you are on a mission.
I'm just doing it now.
My aim infector is 312 out of 80. So
yeah, you got me on that one. Mine's 279. No, I think I still have you. Mine's 279 of 130.
Yes.
Oh, my security is 88 of 55, and researcher is 44 of 55.
Maceo's got you. He's got 536 out of 80 on his monstrosity.
Holy cow! Well, that's probably because you did orbs, I bet.
Yeah, I'd imagine Mizio did pretty much the blitz orb thing, whereas I did the character farming. Orbs. So yeah, see, I didn't do orbs because I was doing the character efficiency versus the rate of the currency efficiency, right? So there's
in beta, everyone, Thor was still relatively decent until like the speed changes came in and stuff. So I mean, in early beta, Thor was pretty beastly if you could get him up there. So I mean, I remember my 6-star Thor was running around knocking heads, and then all of a sudden, everyone was super fast. I guess this isn't going to work anymore.
Apparently, what's his name was good too. Ronan.
Yeah, Ronan was good.
Yeah, he got nerfed. Yeah. He was good at the beginning. He definitely took a nerf bat to the face. One of them big, like the big ones.
Monstrosity would be
one. Yeah.
Monstrosity would actually be good if he was faster. Even though he gives himself the defense down in the right team, that can be taken away pretty quick.
No.
All right, well, let's go ahead and finish up your week so we can move.
Yeah, so that actually was the end of my week. I figured I would just drop the aim bomb on everybody and just be like, there it is, man. I've had it, and I'm just doing what I want to do now. I'm just having fun at this point. So
drop the mic and walk away, huh?
Drop the mic and walk away, and that would mean that Muggin needs to pick it up and respond. So Muggin, what have you been up to this week?
I got all my creed 5-star, so I am ready for Fury when he wanders back around. Nah, I just look. Listen, are you farming for Revan in Star Wars?
I would neither confirm nor deny that.
So, if you place the best character in the game at my feet, I'm going to get him at some point. Now, I didn't panic farm him the first time because I didn't want to buy into that engine and kind of how that was done. But now that he's been out, and you see what he can do and how powerful he is in the game and etc. It's reasonable for me to attempt to farm him. The thing for me that kind of is annoying is that, I'm going to score him for 5-star, but there's no way I'm going to get 6 by the time he comes back, which means I still can't clear Dark Dimension. But honestly, I haven't gone in the DD for, I don't know, maybe a week and a half because I just constantly forget that it exists. But
as well, you should.
Now I'm just doing a little bit of gear on them. They're all gear 7. So I'm just going to bring them all up to the point where they need purples. I'm not going to put any purple gear on them for the 5-star push. And then I've already got all of their abilities on all 5 of them maxed out, except for T4. So I had 2,300 purple mats or 2,400 purple mats in the bank. So I brought them all up, and I still had like 500 left. So it's in a pretty decent spot there still.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, and then I've been farming Mystique just because single hard node character farms is like when they're there, you kind of have to do them. So she's at 50 out of 55. I didn't even finish the the milestones for the last Pyro Blitz, so he's 37 out of 45. But I'm messing around in there right now. And then I've been.
What was your score for that again? So you can tell everyone.
350K or something like that. 400K. I don't know, something like that.
But you were lucky.
Really it's crazy that on the most exclusive character. Yeah, it's just funny to me how on the most exclusive character, Muggins like.
I
don't give a shit about Pyro.
I like Pyro's kit and everything, but like I just can't deal with Blitz anymore. And I mean, if you listen to the show back in the day, you know that I was a champion of Blitz, and the 2-hour time frame completely made that game unplayable for someone in my position, which is frustrating because I used to very much enjoy like figuring out teams and climbing and maximizing points and all that stuff. And it sucks that what was one of my favorite parts of the game is now like my least favorite part of the game. Well, maybe one day that changes, but for now it just kind of is what it is. So, with with a 12-week-old, a toddler, a job, and I've been doing a ton of freelance work, it's too much to, try and deal with that kind of garbage. So normally I just kind of do what I can and get as far the milestones as I can, and that's it. But I've been working on my tech team. So if I get my rocket to 6-star, he's 131 out of 300. I'll have everything I need for 7-star Star-Lord, which will be pretty sweet too. So I've been really buying Raid Orbs pretty much nonstop, and then leaving like 1,400 in the bank in case he shows up in the shipment as a direct buy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's almost done. That'll be sweet. And then I've been working on my defenders. So Jessica Jones, I got to 6-star this week. Daredevil, I got to 6-star this week. Almost got Punisher there, but they're all 5 and 6-star, like 25 to 30,000 power, and using them in the raids. Very nice, very nice. And then now that my Kree are all 5-star, I'm switching to start working on some of the shield minions I'll need for Fury to farm their shards up a little bit to make them all 5-star. I think I've got like 2 that are missing. Operative. Well, actually, Shield is they're all 5-star already, so just been kind of filling out with that. And then in real life, I decided it would be cool at work to fall down the steps and jack my knee up. So I've been doing fun workers' comp stuff all week for that, and I'm in like a nice immobilized knee brace, and that's super fun.
Yeah, if only somebody had told you to get an MRI when it happened.
I knew I needed an MRI, but you know what? You got to get what you call it? You got to get workers' comp to pay for it. They start with X-rays and garbage. So
yeah.
That's been my week.
All right, man. Well, I'm happy you're going to be ready for being a sellout. So.
I'm already there, so he can join me.
I'll get there. I've got 2 at 5-star, 1 at 4-star, almost 5, and then 2 that are at 3. So I might get there. I might not. I don't know.
Honestly,
it's kind of the fun of doing it at this point.
Farm was not really as bad as I thought it would be, and I think it might be that extra when they added in that extra 50 crystal refresh. 50 core refresh. So generally,
that helps.
Like I wake up in the morning and I've got a full bank of energy. I buy all 4, right? I'm able to farm Punisher, both Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and then like 3 or 4 out of the 6 Kree nodes that you need to farm. I don't farm Oracle because he's already almost 6-star from just orb buying in but I normally can get 3 to 4 additional nodes there. So then it's just like later in the day with the free refresh, you get the last guy or 2, and then you have your third refresh of the day you can spend on gear. So it hasn't been too bad.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing the same thing. So I do the same thing in the morning. I buy my 4, and then I do Punisher, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist. But then where we diverge is I don't go to the Kree after that because Shudder. I do Black Panther, Doctor Strange, and Groot.
Black Panther, Doctor Strange, and Groot. You know what? Groot, or I'm sorry, not Groot. Doctor Strange, I can't deal with anymore. Like every single time I use him, and he's like he's about 29K or 28 or 29K, he just dies instantly. I hate it.
Yeah, they just kind of target him. I don't know if it's programmed in or what.
Exactly.
But, I don't know.
So
it's
I know special.
Go ahead.
Or characters that you go up against in campaign nodes and raid nodes and things like that. I believe that they're pre-designed to prefer one particular character type, like controller, support, something like that. I remember I saw that on, what was it? I think it was on the Raging Unicorns thing.
Yeah.
They showed what each character preferred. Yeah, so I'm not sure what it is, but every single time it seems like they go right for my Strange and he dies in 3 seconds. So I don't even bother using him anymore. I hate him so much.
I've had the most success with him behind a Drax, to be honest. I mean, Drax.
Yeah, it's the only thing that makes
Drax
sense.
to me has a lot of strength in raids, just because of that. Him being able to kind of bypass a lot of that support hate that's in the Ultimate 65 has really, it was like everybody liked Drax, and then he was, everybody hates Drax, and now it's like, oh, cool, Drax is awesome again.
Just don't run him with Star-Lord.
I run him with Star-Lord and Blitz, actually.
And Rocket. Well, okay, so I do that in Blitz. The problem with it is, though, and it was reported this week, and it's been confirmed to be a known issue, Star-Lord's passive doesn't work the way it's written. So
yeah, no, I know.
It's supposed to give energy to all Guardian allies, and it doesn't. It only gives it to one Guardian ally.
Yeah, it says generate 1 to 2 ability energy to Guardian allies. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't mind it too much, because I generally put Star-Lord in the corner directly next to Rocket, so I'm guaranteed to feed Rocket the 1, and then if Drax gets it, that just means his ultimate gets ready faster, which does hit decently and heals him up after that initial barrage. So I don't mind it too much. But yeah, it would be nice if it worked the way it should. But I run a primarily Guardian team in Blitz, so that way I can put my cap with my Avengers.
Yeah, I run a similar team in Blitz, except Drax is the one I leave out, and I put Thanos in there. And then so Star-Lord, Rocket, Gamora, Groot, and Thanos.
Yeah, my Thanos team in Blitz is kind of like...
Oh, I've missed that.
So
I've missed Thanos.
My Thanos team...
I forgot about that, too.
Yeah.
Thanos.
Oh, Thanos, whatever. I run him with Deadpool, Cable, Vision, and what's his name? Crossbones. It's a weird team, but it holds up.
Yeah. See, I use all
so.
Those guys on other teams. So
yeah, that's like my hodgepodge, still over 120K team.
Yeah, it's like the Blitz leftover team.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. So we've got a bit to cover tonight, and before we do, let us go over this week's data mine. So, quick disclaimer: this is a data mine. It is not guaranteed to be coming to game. It is just what we think is coming to the game based off of what has been found in some of the game files. So, first we have Scarlet Witch in the Arena Store. Scarlet Witch will be available in the Arena Store for 500 Arena credits. Now, caveat: I don't think they've ever been right, except maybe on Rocket. I don't think they were right on Ant-Man. They might have been, because I thought they said Ant-Man was coming to Arena.
I want to say they were.
Did they say he was coming to Blitz?
Vision. It was Vision that was wrong. They said Vision was going on Arena.
And Black Panther.
He never showed up, and then it was Black Panther, which didn't show up, and then it was Ant-Man who ended up going to the Blitz.
So, Scarlet Witch may be coming to the Arena Store, which would be kind of nice. It looks like the Bendy Girl and the Witch event is coming back up. So, Advanced Scarlet Witch for 24 hours are Mistress of Magic Orb Fragments in the upcoming Nexus Guardian Flash event. When you build her up, participate in Bendy Girl and the Witch by teaming up with Miss Marvel. I'd rather have Miss Marvel back, but that's fine. Miss Marvel needs to be farmable like now. There is supposedly a welcome back offer coming, and it reads, "Welcome back, Commander. If you haven't already, be sure to claim your exclusive welcome back offer." Then we've got the Gifted Gathering. Commander, for 24 hours, the number of X-Men and Brotherhood character shards awarded from campaign nodes has doubled from 2 to 4. You can get these extra shards from the following campaign missions: Villain 5-6 for Mystique, and Mystic 2-3 for Storm. Give your collection power a boost with these bonus drops. Good luck, Commander. We have the Uncanny Blitz, which is a limited time milestone, alliance milestone. For the next 5 days, participate in Blitz using characters with the Brotherhood or mutant traits to earn points towards the Uncanny Blitz milestone. The more Brotherhood mutant characters your alliance uses, the more points you earn. Each new milestone level contains gold orb fragments, mega orb fragments, and snowball orb fragments. Start earning points now. I hate these things. And then finally, we've got the snowball orb, which has been confirmed by our future friends to be in game. Log in every day in December to earn snowball orbs. Snowball orbs guarantee 5 marquee character shards and gold. Hurry and pile up all the snowball orbs you can because they're exclusive to the winter login calendar and special events. And that is the data mine for this week from those wonderful guys that do all that. So, you guys got anything that you want to add to the data mine?
Well, I guess first of all, I really hope that with the alliance milestones, that they actually get them right this time, and that they don't. It was a little
really
bit of a greedy.
Fox to get anything right at this point?
No, we'll
get there. We're gonna get there.
But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that they'll kind of balance it now that they've had 2 of them. I think the first one was already difficult, like very difficult. I think only like 1% or so were actually able to complete all the milestones on them. The next one we saw was even more difficult. It was actually impossible unless players spent on raid energy. So I don't know what this next one's going to be, but I really hope that they got some really terrible feedback about that last one, and that they're going to. I know I bitched and moaned about it. So
yeah, because they listen to terrible feedback. Red Stars.
That's right. It was instrumental in creating the new plan. So.
Yes, it was instrumental in them just going, "We don't care." Double barrel middle finger.
Well, I can give you some Red Star feedback if you want, but
yeah, we're gonna.
Did you listen to last week's episode?
Yeah, I did. I have a little different view on it, though. So
we're gonna carve out like a little segment, I think, for that right after this. For you, everyone should have a chance to rant about Red Stars. I said my piece.
I have a feeling Muggin's not going to rant.
You're going to have a turn. Or maybe he's not. They get to say their piece about it at least. But let me finish going through this real quick. Let me see if there's anything else. I assume that these are going to be coming in, or at least the Gifted Gathering for the double drop from Mystique and Storm. I assume that those are going to come in before the event, or at least it better. Wouldn't shock me if it did come in after, but I would hope not. And then I could see Scarlet Witch coming into the arena store. I think that makes sense. So yeah, I hope that does happen. I think that what they really need to do as far as stores are concerned is that they need to adjust the price for the raid store, because they need to lower down the cost of the characters in there, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we get a lot. Now, to be fair, we do get a lot of raid credits every day. I'd personally rather see them up the price of the orb, but
there's also a lot of stuff that we actually need there.
Yeah, I'd rather see them bring the prices back in line with the beta numbers. I mean, what was it? It was like 1,000 or 950 or 1,000 for a premium character in beta, I think.
Yeah, but we do get a lot of raid tickets every day.
You get a decent amount, but you also have a lot of gear to farm out of there. If they continue to add characters, it's also the other thing about the raid store is on a rotation, right? So there's 3 slots, and there can be all kinds of different stuff in there, versus the arena and the Blitz store being permanent, right? They don't have
those
rotating
are static
slots, so it's known that if you want to farm Scarlet Witch, you definitely can farm her. Versus right now, I'm trying to farm Rocket, and it's like, maybe I get him once every 2 to 3 days showing up in there. But if I pop orbs, I get, maybe two hits a day of him in orbs. So, you have to make that conscious decision of, well, maybe I'll get some crappy stuff in there that I don't need, but I could get Rocket,
Right. Well, and look,
like
there really are, to speak to that, there are two efficient ways to farm from these stores. One is character efficiency, one is credit efficiency, right? So neither one, in my opinion, is wrong. It depends on what you need and what you're wanting to accomplish out of it. Because earlier today, I spent 20,000 raid tickets on nothing but orbs, right? I got 29 rocket. Had I taken that same 20,000 and just been patient and bought him when he showed up, I'd have gotten well over 100. So
right, but it would have taken you a month.
It would. He actually shows up rather frequently for me. I want to say he shows up at least once, maybe twice a day.
Yeah, it still would have taken you like 3 weeks to get 100. Five per day. If you think about that, it's going to equate out to like 7.5 a day.
Yeah, so but how often are you going to have 20? How often are you going to burn 20,000 credits to get 29
Well, yeah, that's
shards?
The other thing. It's a little skewed because you've been saving.
Right. So I mean, if I get 29, if I only get 29 for 20,000, then and it takes me 5 days to do that. I'm really kind of looking at the same amount of time, aren't I? So again, it's there. Like I said, to me, there are two efficient ways to do it. There's ticket efficiency. So you have the tickets that you can use on the orbs. You get a bunch of characters, or you just target the character that you want. And I think that's smarter when you're closer to the goal line than when you're further away.
Yeah, or when you get to the point where you have a lot of the characters that are in the orb already where you need them. So, if you've got a lot of that at 7, you're just fueling Ultimus orbs, which we all know how awesome those things are.
Aren't they?
So at that point, it's almost better to just buy them outright, even though it'll be a little slower because you won't have as much chafe. And additionally, when they come and go, oh, hey, we've added a new character. Like I remember when they added Rocket, you and I were both sitting on, I had like 35 or 40,000 tickets. And I was like, sweet, I got like 95 or 97 Rocket orbs that day. And
you got a lot of good pulls, man. I think I walked out with like 59 or 60.
Yeah, I got almost 100 Rocket shards that day because I was like, I would basically buy catalysts or purple gear that I really needed, but otherwise I was just kind of holding on to it, going, well, I don't really need any of these characters right now. And then it paid off. I mean, the same thing happened with Arena. I was holding those Arena tickets, and then Mordo dropped, and I was able to get him, and then I got all my Daredevil. So it's just kind of like, at some point you'll get to the point where you're not really caring about what's in those stores, and you start hoarding it, and then when those characters show up, you can kind of go for it.
Yep.
For me, I don't. There's never a time that I'm not getting gear out of the Arena store. I don't have the opportunity to get characters, like to save up enough to get character shards out of the Arena store. I'm sorry, not the Arena store. The raid store. So I don't know.
How wide are you going with your roster, man? Or are you just buying gear to stockpile gear?
No, I'm not really stockpiling them. I'm using it, but. I mean, I have a lot.
You're getting really lucky with your gear drops because I'm sitting on a tier 11 Daredevil and I'm looking at what I need, and that shit never shows up, man. It's these advanced isomers and these stupid focus catalysts, and oh no, that's actually ready to build. I mean, it's just
I get all the gear that's common to the characters that I'm farming. Keep in mind, I am farming not only Kree, I'm farming for Brotherhood, Defenders, and Shield, so I can use everything. So anything that I know that I'm going to be using that pops in the store that I don't already have a bunch of, I buy. So I've been doing that forever too. So I really have rarely ever gotten the opportunity to buy anything out of the raid store as far as character shards are concerned. So for me, I think that they just need to lower it down to like 900 or so, like something like that, and then lower down the price of the orb a bit too.
I think they should. I mean, for me, I think that they should make them like 1,000 instead of 1,400.
Even then, That's fine. Like just not 1,400.
Yeah, I do. I do agree. I think 1,400 is too much.
Budget out. Yeah.
Now, so speaking to this, I think
not to hate on that too much.
I think this leads us into kind of our news of the week. I mean, was there anything else in the Datamine that you guys wanted to talk about?
No, not really. Not for me, at least.
Okay.
No,
so
I agree with you guys on those milestones. I like having them there as an opportunity to earn additional things for stuff I'm already doing, but I also want the end game to be attainable without having to drop money on it. So they'll get it right eventually. I just think they need to really take a look at the analytics and break out a calculator maybe instead of napkin mathing it, and make sure that if you need to push hard to get the last couple, that's fine. I'm cool with that. And if people go, well, I can spend and make sure that I hit it, that's great. But like you said, requiring monetary expenditure is not what those, in my opinion, what milestones should be used for.
I agree with that.
Exactly. Yeah. I went into that a good bit last time, and I hated the fact that was the case because, with the other one, the one before, like, at least it was obtainable. I think that it was probably still a little too hard, but I like the fact that, still it's the upper echelon that's able to actually complete it, and then everyone else can get closer, probably like 75% of the way for the majority.
I mean, listen, not everybody should be able to do everything. I mean, if everybody could do everything, then no one would spend any money and there would be no competition and everybody would just be winning, and that would be boring. That's okay, but you need to make it at least seemingly attainable instead of someone breaking out a calculator and go, this is literally not possible without money, dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, but that's what but that's what Fox Next wants, man. Okay, let's just call a spade. Okay, Fox Next doesn't give a shit about your ability to complete these milestones without spending money. They want to get into your fucking wallet.
Well,
that's all they care about. That's all they give a shit about is what's in your wallet. They don't care about keeping players. They only care about getting in new ones, milking them for everything they fucking can, and then just dropping them like bad fucking habits.
Okay. We know where your
God. Is today. Fucking 99-cent offers on my fucking last nerve, man.
Listen,
Jesus Christ.
Red face right now. I'm so pissed.
Listen, I sounded just like Dorian when Revan came out, okay? Because in Star Wars. So, I can definitely understand where, especially people that play both games right now are just going to be like, WTF. I mean, because we've had it for months now between the two. It was, Fox Next is getting better. And then it's like, oops, CG dropped the ball. We got the Chewie thing. Everyone's pissed off. Oh, Revan came. Everyone's pissed off again. Oh, it's looking better. Oh, now Fox Next dropping the ball. In the end, these games are designed to prey on the weakness of gambling, to take money out of your wallet as fast as it can, etc. The hope is with these bigger IPs, like Star Wars being around for 3 years, and hopefully MSF, we're closing in on a year since, if it hasn't already been a year since beta launch, I'm at 340 days right now, and that's including taking basically a month off. So, we're closing in on a year since the game was available to play, right? And, it seems strong enough to make it longer. There are plenty of other games that come out like this that are here for the cash grab that make it 6 months and then disappear. So, hopefully there's enough foresight in these guys to wake up. And like I've heard you guys say on past casts, because obviously I've been listening, it does feel like the suit, there was a period where the suit said, okay, we're going to take a step back. We're going to chill the community down and kind of try and fix this. And now it feels like they're kind of, the suits are sliding back in going, well, how do we milk it a little bit more? And they're kind of testing the boundaries and the waters of kind of what they can get away with here. And if you notice the things that they're pushing now, they're trying different ways to pull the money out. Like the Brotherhood is, I mean, the Nick Fury thing was one thing, but the Brotherhood is like a new attempt, right, to try and get the money. The initial Fury was, don't give them enough time, give them too much to farm, so they're going to have to figure out a way to supplement, to offset the time with money. This one, with Brotherhood, it's don't give them enough time and don't give them access to the characters to force them to buy offers like, hey, Pyro's here, only top 1,500 get him. Oh, by the way, here's this orb you can buy. This orb package you can buy. So it's a new way to attempt the milk of money, and they're gonna figure out the happy medium. I mean, you remember the chromium packs in the beginning of Star Wars were completely different than anything they do now. So eventually they'll fall into a stride, but it is very frustrating to watch them sliding right back into kind of the bad business practices they previously had.
And speaking of bad business practices, let's we're gonna hold off on Hebrew's rant on this one for a little bit, because I wanted to touch on, you were talking about, or we had talked about the gear in the raid store and the currency and the prices, and so I want to hit on this one first. And so they've added orange gear to the store. They've redesigned the store, which threw me at first, because I'm used to going in, hitting the ABCs in the upper right hand corner. They're gone. They're moved. Like, they're not gone, but they've moved, right? And now that's an ability mat. Right. I'm like, jeez, old Pete's. I almost hit it. I'm almost like, man, I almost bought 5 ability mats for like 2 million credits, and it's like, oof. But what do you guys? I know the big issue now is the lack of resources in this game to be able to buy stuff. So, and now they've added another thing to purchase for gold without giving us a gold increase. So everybody's getting, people that have been playing the game for a while are at or very close to getting 69, 70. They're able to start using this orange gear. But there are no extra resources for us. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, how do you feel about the fact that they just keep throwing things out for gold, and aren't giving us the resources to obtain these? Like, there's no growth curve here. Speaking of which, well, before I do, achievements are utter crap. I vomited a little bit in the back of my mouth when I looked and saw that I had spent nearly 162.5 million gold in this game, and my reward for that is 15 power cores and 30 energy tickets.
Yeah, those are a joke for sure. But yeah, with the gold, we actually have seen a little bit of an increase with gold because of the raids, the beta and alpha raids. But we don't know how often they're coming. This is the second time that they've come. It seems like they're aligned with character events, so they're not always going to be around. But it's something that seems to be, as far as we know, going to be continuing to come whenever we have character events, which seem to be at a relatively decent cadence right now. But that being said, it's still only the increase of 1 gold orb pretty much every other day, or if you're completing it, I think it's probably 1 gold orb a day. So even then, it's not much, but they validate it by saying, "Oh, well, you have the gambling effect of well, you could be hitting 1 million on that one, so you could have 1 million extra a day." But you got the odds. And so that's. Yeah, but that's what they do, though. They're like, well, yeah, you have the potential for this, but it's not the reality. And so the problem is, yeah, they just added in another thing that we have to have in order to progress further in the game, because we're getting to the point now where, a lot of people are, actually a very large amount of people on the upper end are completing Ult 6, and, the next DD is coming out. We're going to need that next gear level, and the prices for these things are stupid. The power core cost one is retarded as always. I don't understand why that's even a thing. It's like 1,300 power cores for 1 gear piece or something. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense, especially not whenever you compare it to the cost that they're selling for gold. Nothing about that makes any sense for any of the power core costs for items in this game. They really need to change that. I don't understand it. I guess it's purely for whale bait that just, I guess, is literally made of money. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, they just added in another thing for us to spend money on without giving us very much practical gold that we can actually rely on getting. So it's going to be an even bigger gold crunch now. They need to be bringing back those gold blitzes, but we saw it once, and we gave all of our feedback that we loved it, and then we never saw it again.
Well, yeah, we loved it, and they realized they gave us too much.
Well, I mean, I think it boils down to this. It's like, I was happy to see them bring them into that store. Like, it's nice that there is now 2 spots dedicated for the gold orbs. I mean, for the gold gear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the gold pricing for it is pretty much in line with what I would expect. It's basically double the cost of the purple gear. You know, like I just bought 2 pieces out of there for $32K each.
Right.
I like them that they put them at the top, to be honest, because, you know, you know, I don't even look at the greens. I don't like having to scroll past the greens to get to the golds. I would forget to even check down there, you know?
Yeah.
So I like that they brought it to the top. You know, things like that. I think the big thing is they, you know, the Foxnex team needs to decide where they want the crunch to be, right? So, you know, different games have different crunches, and those crunches should over time change, right? So, you know, I hate to compare to other games and stuff, but, you know, it used to be back in the day with Star Wars that gold was a nightmare. Like,
it was.
This was before they had a credit heist, which is similar to the Merc event, right? You had to team up scoundrels to get these credit heist completions, and had different tiers. And then now it's like gold grows on trees pretty much in the game once you get that all worked out. And even recently, I started an alt account just to kind of see what the new player experience was, and I was not wanting for gold ever, and I've gone from like 1 to 46 or something, which is about halfway through, and I've never even thought about the fact that I did or did not have gold, because I have so much that I can't even dent it, which is completely different than where it started back in the day. Now in that game, the crunch is ability materials like Zetas, Omegas, you know, things like that, gear, top end gear 12 pieces, things like that. So they kind of have to decide if they want the crunch to be the gear piece, what you spend to get the gear piece, how you obtain the gear piece, the shards, the gold. But right now the problem, I think, is that everything is a crunch. You don't ever feel like, hey, I'm getting ahead of you know, of this particular resource management. You know, you're managing ability materials, you're managing gold, you're managing character shards, you're managing energy, you're managing cores. It's so much to manage, that I think they need to just go like 2 out of 5 or 3 out of 5 and let the other 2 kind of flow. And I think the addition of the gold orbs to the beta raid and the alpha raid is great. I think they should be brought into the Ultron, to the Ultimus raid. I also think at this point, they should be a little bit. We should get more purple ability mats per node completed in the Ultimus raids, as we now are basically starved by gold mats, tier 4 mats. You might as well kind of increase the ability as the rosters are growing. You need more of those purples, so giving out more doesn't really have it as an adverse effect. So there's areas that they could give us a little bit to make us feel better about what we do and don't have and what we have to crunch on, and kind of make that better. But I do like the fact that the orange gear is in the store. I think it needed to happen. I mean, we were just bitching. I think you guys were just talking about that a week or two ago, that it's just like, we need more opportunity for this gear. We've gotten it. It's not the most optimal way to get it. Like, it'd be great if it was on a node somewhere where we could actually like legit farm it. But I think that will come as they add new, like the Nexus 9 and 8 and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think there is one thing that I'd like to say, and that is that there's one resource where we are not hurting: training modules.
Oh yeah,
I'm sitting pretty on training modules.
No, dude, I'm bringing.
I bet you guys straight up
70,
forgot
man.
that was even a thing.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
And then like blue and green ability mats too. It's like you got thousands of them, and they never want to dent them. But I think we could get a little more purple. You know, right now we're getting 3 or 4 or something. 2. You know, give it 15 per node completed. You know, and then you don't run out as fast. And if you go, hey, it's time to, I want to do aim. You don't go, oh god, I gotta farm purple mats for 2 weeks. It's like, cool, I've got some leftover mats. I can kind of bring this team up halfway, you know, and then worry about farming the purple mats. It just be nice for people to be able to do these little side projects, you know, or take a new team up, or if there's a shift in the meta, be able to bring up a character without, you know, skill wise, you know, for a rework or something, without being like totally boned.
Yeah, and I think that kind of brings up one thing in my head, which is, You're right. We did talk about how it needs to be more readily available, the orange gear, and I'm glad that it is in the store. I wish it was less, but it does come in line with what the prices are for the purple gear. But my issue is I feel like purple gear should be more farmable at this point. As far as not more farmable, because of course we have the ability to get it, but I don't know, increase the drop rates for it a little bit more or something like that. Now that I'm already having a orange gear crunch now, it would be nice if I can be getting this purple gear in a more reliable way, because there's all the time I'm going into nodes, dropping all of my energy on it, and I'm getting absolutely nothing that I need.
Oh, tell me about it. I mean, the drop rates in the game overall, I think in nodes are pretty bad. I mean, I've farmed, what was it, like a couple of days ago, I farmed Kree Noble 2 nodes 3 days in a row with not a single shard. So it's what, 2,
Yep, sounds about right.
Yeah.
600 energy. Nothing.
Yeah.
And that's like,
it's a nightmare.
That's bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you guys think that that's out of line if they increase the drop rate for the purple gear a little bit now that we are on to the orange gear a little more? Or do you think that that's unrealistic to these kinds of game standards? Because you guys know better from the longevity behind Star Wars more than me.
Yeah, so I don't think that they ever increased the drop rate of any of the gear. They added the ability to get the gear from different stores through raids.
Gear through raids,
daily challenge. So like the heroic Sith raid is amazing for gear in that game, and it wasn't always that way. In fact, we kept complaining because we got a lot of challenge gear, and we didn't get to there's like 3 pieces of gear that everybody needs, in that game. And I'm sorry to take time talking about Star Wars, but you've got your Mark III Carbonis, you've got your stun cuffs, and those are the 2 big ones. There's another one I'm just forgetting right now, but you can get those through the daily challenges that you can run 5 times every day. Very similar to what we get every once in a while with our challenges, but we get gear, right? We get gear and we get something else. So we get gear and we get training droids, or we get gear and we get credits, or we get gear and we get ability mats.
Yeah, imagine the Catalyst challenge, but every day you have a Catalyst challenge, but it's a different gear type, right? So it's a gear for tanks, it's gear for mutants, with gear for bio, it's gear for if that was
that's right. I remember that
in our challenges that would help, I think.
Yeah, that would be perfect. That would be perfect, because that's a problem. I mean, even if you look at the purple gear orb, because we obviously do get that from raids, but it's only the centerpiece that really gives us something that we can use. I'm all stocked up on the side pieces. It's amazing how little I use those pieces in comparison to the center pillar, which is the only piece that I actually need most of the time.
Because that's ABCs in that center pillar.
Yeah, ABCs, it's
ABCs.
anything that's actually in the center pillar. It's never. Yeah. I mean, it's very rarely ABCs for me.
What are you working on?
For the purple gear orbs?
ABCs.
The purple gear orbs in raid store. Whenever
I can't hear you. You're fading in and out.
All right, what about now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I was saying, so the purple gear orb in the raid store, whenever you...
Oh, in the raid store. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the actual gear piece. Like
no.
Had like no. If you were building a piece of gear for, say, Daredevil, you had the stuff for the sides, but it was always the middle one. Sorry, I misunderstood you.
No, I was zipping in and out, it sounds like. So, no, I was talking about, with the purple gear orbs, like whenever you roll on them, the 2 side pieces don't really matter. Like, you have tons of those stockpiled up. It's the middle piece that actually gives you something worthwhile.
Right.
It's going to be like, 5 pieces of something. So, considering, whenever you complete the raid, we still don't get a lot of that. That's one of my main sources of gear. It'd be really nice if we could have something where we had a raid that gave us a lot more gear or something like that, a lot more of the purple gear orb fragments. That would be good, just because I feel like I just need more ways to get more purple gear. I'm still tied up with trying to get so many different people leveled up into the top gear levels, and I don't have the purple gear to do it at all. Not to mention, like, the most reliable thing that I do for purple gear is spending my gold on it in the gold store whenever it pops up. So I don't know. I feel like something needs to happen there. And I think you're right how Star Wars did it, where they had an event that rotates every day. That would really help out. I would love if they did something like that. So yeah, that would be a good way. But anyways, I don't even know how I got onto that, but yeah, that's the thing.
Yep. So yeah, I like I said, I think it's great that they're available and there's a way to get it. If you start adding if you keep adding things for gold, you've got to give us more ways of getting gold. That's my only beef.
Yes,
that's my only beef.
I agree.
So, so we're starting to see this is now the second time this month that Fox Next has not released a dev blog update in the week that they said they would. The last dev blog update was November 21st. Mm-hmm. We are now 9 days out. Are they slipping back to their lack of communication?
I mean, for me, like, I don't hold them to that as much. I know a lot of people do, and I totally understand why, because it feels like you almost have to keep them on a leash, and if you loosen the leash, they'll run away with it. So yeah, I'm worried about it for that purpose, but not having one every week doesn't kill me, but it does make me worried for the overall, like, do they think that they have enough room now to be able to get away? What Muggin said earlier, they keep testing the boundaries with us. I feel like that is happening more and more, and in every different way possible. And I think that this is kind of one of them, because I think that they tied themselves to the whole, we're going to do a dev blog post every week. And then they realize, oh, that's too much work. We don't want to do that. So, yeah, I it's missing. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it makes me worried for the big picture.
And so that leads into the next one, which is, so, by the way, Muggin, I want to let you know, Nexus 8 and 9 are not coming anytime soon. They are not on the horizon.
No, yeah, I know.
Okay. That is, I don't know if that's, I hope I'm not telling tales out of school, but I asked specifically about those, and that was the response that we got. So, this is the whole lack of communication thing. So today we are recording. It is November 30th. It's the last day of November. 2 days ago, on November 28th, there was this big brouhaha, because it turns out some people were getting this ridiculous offer of 1,000 cores for 99 cents. Turns out this was only going to people who had never spent a dime in game, and Reddit burnt down, and people were gathered outside the studios with pitchforks and torches. Heber and I were there leading the charge. In fact, I posted on our chat, stop spending right now. This company does not give a shit about your money other than that they want it. They don't care about you. They just care about what's in your wallet, and they don't care that you spent money on their game. They don't care. They just don't give a shit about you. And that's still my opinion. If you are spending on this game, I don't know why. Because they don't care. They don't care about you. They're going to milk you for everything that you've got, and they're just going to keep doing these things to where they want to try to get the new players to spend money, and they're going to abandon their whales. And that's stupid, because you never abandon the people who are sticking by your product and have stuck by it through the horrible, horrible, horrible times that we had this past summer. And so, sorry, mini rant. I'm done. I'm really, really super pissed about this, because I think it's a slap in the face. It is a mega nuclear nut punch to all the spenders who have ever spent a penny. Mm-hmm. Because I'd have bought this. I'd have gladly bought this. Had they made this available for everybody, I'd have been throwing my wallet at my computer. Take my money, right? Yeah. I've been throwing my wallet at my phone. Take my money. But this was stupid. They're trying to. This is going back to the gambling addictive behavior. They're trying to get you hooked, and it's just. It pisses me off. It just, honestly, it makes me so mad. And I'm going to tell everybody, stop spending right now. Because that's the only way.
Let me go ahead and...
Yeah, please.
Let me go ahead, and I want to ask Muggin real quick. So you've spent on this game before, right? I'm not sure if you're currently spending or if you have, or have you spent on this game before?
I think I've spent like maybe $25. So I bought the $20 deal that they had where it was like cores and energy and everything. Remember when they had that like really good deal?
Oh yeah, okay.
And you and I were talking about. I was like, I'm buying that thing.
Oh yeah.
And I think I spent $5 or something on something somewhere for a legendary event to make sure I got the next star or something stupid.
Right.
But like for me, real quick before I forget, don't want to go off, but the snowball orbs have shown up in the game. The two side pillars on the snowball are both guaranteed 20k gold, so that's nice. And it looks like we get at least one snowball every single day of the month. So 40k a day ain't half bad. So that's actually not terrible. But anyway,
but it's just temporary, unfortunately.
I know, but for the whole month, I mean, it's not. That's going to be at least a little bit of a bump.
It's 1.24 million gold.
There you go. Anyway, so yeah, no, I have, and a little bit, nothing like Disney Hero Battle Mode, but you know, and we can talk about why that is in a minute, but
yeah,
I think the way they did this was really stupid. When someone makes their first purchase in anything, anything they do, whether it be a video game in real world, the first time you ever go to the grocery store after you move out of your parents' house, the first time your parents make you buy your own pair of shoes, you know, anytime you make your first purchase, it sets a value structure in your head of what all future purchases should be, right? So if you're someone who has never spent on the game before and an offer this insane shows up and you buy it, at that moment you have set the value moving forward for what they purchase. So all the free-to-play players who bought this for $1 now have in their mind, I can and have gotten 1,000 cores for $1. So unless your next offer is close to that, now you can go $5 for 2,000 or something like that, and possibly slowly wean them up to a higher price point, but you need to entice them to realize the value that they've spent. So this offer honestly would have been much better served being given to everyone who had previously spent as like a VIP thank you, because in that case, when that gets released to all the free-to-play players that have never bought, that when you spend, you get rewarded, it then entices them to know that once they spend, they're in this club that gets better deals than the people who don't spend. And that would have been, in my opinion, a smarter way to do it, because one, you keep your whales happy, your dolphins, your minnows, everybody who's ever spent goes, wow, cool, these guys give a crap about me. Two, you entice your non-spenders, because they're going to find out about it, to spend. And to join the group of people, even if it's a small amount. I mean, they could buy a $5 core pack and get the next cheap deal, right? But it brings them into the fold, and it makes them go. And once, like I said, once they make that first purchase, they're more likely to make a subsequent purchase in the future. And that's where I think they've made a pretty serious tactical mistake, because now they've just pissed off anyone who's ever spent a penny. And they're not going to, they're going to sell a bunch of 99-cent offers, but it's not going to, I don't think it's going to generate the subsequent business that they think that they're going to get. This isn't going to turn these free-to-play players into spenders.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. And I think that's exactly what you said. It's spot on, because I think that they definitely went in thinking, all right, this is the gateway drug to get them to spend. And they did that stupid deal. And just to preface, this deal was only for people who have never spent anything on the game before. So, yeah, they were expecting to basically turn them into spenders. But at the same time, and keep in mind, like, they know that we're scrutinizing their every move. So I don't even know why they did this in the first place, because anyone can sit there and say, oh, wow, the people who have been spending money on this game probably aren't going to like that we're about to give the best offer we've ever offered exclusively to the people that have never supported us monetarily before. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, they did that. They tried to convert them, and you're right. The value structure set, we've all experienced it before with the anyone that bought the original offer whenever we first start up the game that we get that pertains to a particular character.
Yeah, right, like the $10 cap.
Yeah, offer. It took everyone a really long time to be like, what the heck is going on? Like, when are we going to get another good offer? And it's for that exact reason. And it wasn't even nearly as bad as this one is. I mean, as far as like, it wasn't as good of a value as this one is. This one is a ridiculously good value. So
yeah. I just want to respond. So Curtis the Greek in chat, patron, a wonderful guy. Thank you very much. It says the cores don't do enough to encourage future purchases, and I actually disagree with that, because if you think about it, 1,000 cores is basically 5 days worth of energy refreshes. So somebody that buys that can do 5 days worth of energy refreshes to get a head start on certain farms, or to do things, and it's part of the addictive nature. So you get used to being able to do that every day, even for a short amount of time, and it becomes a habit, and you start wanting it more. So I just it's just bad.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And I think that what he's saying is that there aren't, it's only energy that we ever spend cores on. Like, I can't really call it, and maybe it's just because I'm not remembering right now, but I can't really recall anything else that I ever really spend cores on.
I used cores twice to buy character shards for Black Widow so that I could get a 6-star Iron Man and get my Black Widow to 6-star, because like that's the only way to get her. But it's just, yeah, I agree. It's the cores are important in the game, and I definitely see where Dorian's going. And I think what Curtis is saying is that 1,000 cores can be burned very, very quickly if you're not careful. And
that's true.
What tends to happen with people is the more cores you have in the bank, the faster you will spend them. So an influx of cores, and the fact that they only spend $1 of it, also in addition, by only spending $1 lowers the perceived value of those cores. They're not in their head going, that's $10 worth of cores that I got. They're going, that's $1. I'll just buy it again. And then they go to buy it again, and they go, well, dang it, I can't buy this again. It's $10 now, and now I feel like I was cheated, because I would have spent these differently if I had the value in my head of what these things really were worth. And that's where I think it plays into that whole like side of your mind that's like impulse buy, where buyer's remorse, and it's just not fair to the consumer, I think.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and yeah, I think that there aren't enough ways to really spend cores and in this game, because it really is only exclusively used for energy refreshes and for both character events and regular energy. But I wish that we did have more ways to do it. But anyways, back to what I was saying real quick. So the offer, by doing that, they really pissed off everyone that's ever spent, because all of a sudden the people who have never spent anything before are getting better offers than the people who spend all the time. And that's a real problem in the game. I don't feel appreciated as a customer, that's for sure. And I've spent more on this game than I have any other game. And I can only imagine how annoyed the people are that are spending a ridiculous amount of money. Maybe some of them just don't care because it's just so much that it's just another penny to them. But for me, it definitely makes a big difference. So I was really upset. Tons of people were coming to us and saying that they were really upset, spenders and non-spenders as well. So that was nice to see as well, because I think objectively you can look at this and say this is ridiculous. But that's why, and I've talked to not only, I've went on a spending strike. I'm no longer spending in this game. I encourage anyone until they fix something. I've drawn a line in the sand. I'm not spending on this game anymore for any reason whatsoever until they put in some kind of VIP system. It's a system that is used in many other mobile games, many other successful mobile games, and it makes sense on every single front. And Muggin is actually going to tell us a little bit about, and Dorian as well, since you know it, but the VIP structure of another game that works very well. But yeah, until they include a VIP system in this game, I'm not spending because I do not feel appreciated as a customer. And if they do release this offer later on down the road for some reason to everyone else, I know it's only because of the backlash that they gave. It wasn't because that they were ever intending on it. Even if they say that it was a mistake, I'm sure that's bull.
Oh yeah, I don't believe them anymore. I just flat out don't believe them at all.
Yeah, I don't give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm sorry that this sounds like we're incredibly angry and we're cynical.
But we are incredibly angry and incredibly cynical because we were here through Nightly Gate. We were here through the lack of communication. We were here through the and a lot of the people in our in our audience right now were here as well. I mean, they remember this. They remember the Polygon article. They remember Seaton's rage quit. I mean, I'm honestly very surprised that there have not been other content creators that have created anything. Not that I've seen about this kerfluffle. I mean, it's amazing to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's coming. At least I really hope it is because, with the amount of upset that I saw, at least there's no way that it's not coming because it truly is a big deal. And for those that aren't aware of it, trust me, it is a very big deal. Maybe those that don't spend, they aren't in the same mindset as those who have spent. Granted, you understand how this is a big problem, and I know you've never really spent. So, yeah, I mean, it just whenever you look at it objectively, just think about how you would feel if you went into a grocery store or something and you've been shopping there every single day that you go to this grocery store. You decide not to go to a different grocery store, but you decide to put your money into this grocery store. And then all of a sudden they make a sale that says 90% off everything you buy today, only for new customers for your very first time if you're buying here. Anyone that's in the store that's been shopping there as a loyal customer forever, that's never gotten anything off before, would be furious. I know I would at least.
To be fair, okay, and I'm gonna. There are companies that do offers like this that are for new subscribers only or for new customers only. Cable companies do this all the time. They're notorious. You'll get a 2-year offer, where you get a discount on your service for 2 years if you subscribe now, right? So there are companies that do this, but those are things that you get something out of, right? This is a mobile game that there's nothing tangible.
Well, I also think that there's a little bit of a difference there as well because you're almost always everyone is given some kind of, at least this is in my experience. I haven't been around as long as you guys, so maybe you guys have experienced differently, but for me, every company that I've ever signed up for as far as internet or electricity or anything like that is concerned, cell phone, whatever, I'm always coming in on some type of deal. There's always some kind of special deal for entry. Some might not be as good as others, but it was some kind of deal. And usually there's some kind of loyalty system applied as well. And that's the thing that I was talking about with the VIP system. That's what I told our contact was that if you are going to give, I'm okay with giving new customers a deal, but we need to be getting deals too.
Right.
If we're spenders, we need to be getting loyalty deals.
Yeah.
That would make it okay then. There's a balanced structure.
And that is why things like, and Muggin may know more about this and be able to speak to it better, but I'm gonna talk about another game that he and I both play, and we're in the same guild, and it's Disney Hero Battle Mode. And the game is very similar. The only difference is really that you don't control the characters; they just kind of do their thing. That one has a subscription that you can buy, X amount of diamonds per month. Which, the more I think about it, I really hope Fox Next does not implement a subscription just for energy. I'd rather have cores. But what
my idea.
It was your idea, and I was okay with energy, but after everything that's going on now, I'm just like, no. I mean, it's basically 50 free cores a day. But that's whatever. Whatever. One energy refresh is typical, though. Like in Disney, we get 120 diamonds per day, which is one energy refresh.
Two.
But as you buy diamonds, you earn VIP rank, and that VIP rank does unlock certain features. Like I'm currently, I gotta open it up. I think I want to say I'm VIP rank 3. Muggin, where are you?
I'm almost 8.
You have spent a ton of money on that game.
No, actually,
and I'm still almost as good as you.
No, listen, I did those fiber offers.
That's true. You did the fiber offers. That's true. And that's another really cool thing about the game is that they give you the ability to earn in-game currency just by doing things like
Be anything from answering a survey to downloading another game to signing up for Hulu or whatever. But I think the big thing here
I've seen those offers.
Is basically
Tapjoy fiber.
Yeah, the idea of the VIP system and the benefits range, from anything from double of your daily login rewards, right? So you'll actually get double of what it is.
Right.
The one thing I think that's really big that they do is for each tier that you go up, you get bonus of the in their in-game currency. Basically, cores is diamonds, so you get bonus diamonds anytime you buy diamonds. So it actually your deals become better and better and better and better and better the more that you purchase. So like every time I get VIP 7, for every time you buy something, you get
40.
You get
for every 100
VIP rings, right? For your purchase. So I get right now 100. I get 40 extra crystals for every 100 VIP rings. So for instance, if you were to spend $20, that is 1,500 crystals with 600 VIP rings. So I would get an extra 4 times 6,
240.
An extra 240 diamonds. Well, 240 is a pretty decent percentage of 1,500. That's my bonus for being a repeat customer. So that's the kind of stuff that they could do to kind of offset this kind of crap that they're dealing with. The other thing,
and not only that, but in Disney, you get things like you can buy stamina more often. You get more gold refreshes. You get more free raid tickets. And I was wrong. I'm at level 5, not level 3. So I get 20 for every 100 rings, right?
Yeah, you get more resets. You get
more resets.
Like your heroes, like at level 7, when you get a new character unlocked, they start at level 10. So it's like, it's stupid stuff like that, but it makes you feel better. Bonus gold per check-in, more tokens from completing certain areas of the game. So, a VIP system can be extremely beneficial for the game. You have to be very careful with them, though. They can be, some people consider them to be kind of shady and really pushing you to spend, but, it's not going to entice someone who doesn't spend to spend, really. It's just going to make them feel better, because once you make that purchase, you get an ongoing benefit that never goes away. So the one thing they have to be careful of is in some games with VIP structures, you have decay. So like if you don't continue to spend, you will actually decay VIP points. That is bad. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Really that's so bad.
Once you get to, like, say I'm level 7 right now, if I was decaying right now and I drop down to 6 or 5, I've gotten used to something, and now you've taken it away. So now I feel obligated to buy more, So the thing is it's all about creating ongoing, something to make you feel good about what you've done. And it's really easy to do. And the other thing is, the subscriptions, like in this one, a subscription is $3 a month, gets you 120 diamonds a day, and it costs 50 diamonds for a refresh. So you can do 2 energy refreshes a day, like for $3 a month. Like that is awesome.
That's
you can
good.
Also use it
That's great.
to refresh a node. You can use it to buy more gold. You can, use it to do all kinds of things. That's another system that they could put in place, and subscribing to that also gives you VIP points as well. So, it's a very small amount. Future Fight does it too. Marvel Future Fight has a monthly subscription. I think that one's like $6 a month. That gives you their premium currency every day. So, I think there's opportunity for them to create better monetization structures that would benefit the community while also not pissing them off, and they need to kind of just figure out what that is.
Yeah, I think that is the key, is finding a really good balance there, because you don't want to give too much, just because you don't want it to be like everyone that's free to play be like, whatever, this game isn't even worth it anymore. The only people that can really do anything are the people that spend because of the VIP system. So you don't want to give too much, but at the same time, you want to give enough. Like if they gave something like that, some kind of system like that, it would fix the whole whales feel like they're being taken advantage of, that they don't really get anything worth their value. It would totally fix that, especially if, depending on how high the tiers went up. And it would certainly, just as Keith says, it would help buyer's remorse, that's for sure, because right now I'm having a lot of that.
It's Kev's.
So yeah, I mean, Kev's. Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, there's lots of things that they could do with that would really help out a lot. I think a VIP system is probably the most elegant solution to a lot of their problems right now. And once again, like, I would not have a problem with them offering these kind of gateway offers if there was a system in place that also showed that we were valued. Because I think that's the biggest thing, is that as a spender in this game, I do not want to be treated less than non-spenders. I wanted to be treated equal or shown a little bit more appreciation, considering I am literally spending my hard-earned money on everyone else, to support their game. So I just want to be treated, I just want to either be shown appreciation or treated equal to. That's all. And I just don't think I should be treated less than free-to-play players just because I spend on their game. That doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, something like that needs to happen. And just as a baseline, I don't understand why they did not put this offer out to everyone, because just as Muggin said, it's not really going to convert everyone, because it screwed with the value structure in new players' heads, and no one's going to go from $1 for 1,000 cores to like whatever it is, $15 or $20 for 1,500 or something. No one's going to make that jump if they weren't spending before.
Yeah, it's 20 for 1,580.
So, yeah, and so if they would have offered it to everyone as a Black Friday deal, which they offered nothing special for, they would have given that. It would have made a lot of sense, and B, they would have made way more money than they made. That's for sure. So yeah, it was stupid every single way that you cut it. It was very dumb. I'm incredibly upset over it. Obviously, I've spoken to our contact about it, and we'll see what happens with that. But I really think a VIP system would answer a lot of questions for us.
Yeah, so. I agree with that completely. So
all right, let's go ahead and move on.
Yeah, we're gonna move on.
The one other thing I will bring up that they do there, just as another idea, is I posted it in the Discord, is like there's a they run these things where they'll just all of a sudden be like, hey, if you spend at least $20 on anything in the game, here's a bunch of free stuff you get. Like, for instance, right now they're doing one where you get 150 character shards, a couple of purple pieces of gear, some experience points,
an orange piece.
Yeah, it's an orange piece actually. So you get one orange, two purples, 150 character shards. You get 30 experience point like boosters, like training modules basically, and 1.5 million gold. In addition to whatever you spent that $20 on. So if you bought $20 worth of crystals, you got all this stuff on top of that. And they basically run a new one of those like every 3 or 4 days. And sometimes you have to spend $100 to get it, and sometimes you have to spend $5 to get it. But it again is just like going, hey, here's just, if you're waiting for a particular character, like, so for instance, you would log in, and instead of it going, hey, buy, this many shards for $20, it would say, hey, if you spend $20, we're going to give you 50 Black Widow shards with it. Go buy whatever you want for that $20, and here's some shards. So it's just other ways to like create like more value in the game, I think, that would be helpful.
Speaking of that, I also, real quick, I want to also mention, I don't know if anyone here plays Naruto Blazing or not, but there's a system in there that would work pretty nicely actually for orbs, which is they have a system there where whenever you pull on something, they have a tier system where the more that you pull, which is basically going to be you're spending more money if you're going to be pulling a lot in one event, the more that you pull, the higher your chances are to getting characters that you want, or characters that are like the featured character for that event or something like that. So it makes people either want to, like free-to-play players, it makes them want to save up all of their cores in this case for particular events that they can use, or it makes buyers want to buy more. That way they can increase their luck to get the characters that they want. So something like that is just another way to there's just tons of ways. Now that I think about it, there's just tons of other games that had this system, some kind of system put in place to show appreciation for people that spend. And so, yeah, there's lots of things like that. Anyways, continue.
I think
I dropped out.
No, you said continue.
All right.
I was waiting for Muggin, so
good to go.
I think we've beat this one to death.
Yeah.
So let's move on. I want to start. Let's try to get a little positive. So
wait. Before we get into the positive, we should let Muggin go into his red star.
Oh, so I was going to do that after we talked about the news, but if you want to do it now, I guess we could.
Yeah, do it now, real quick.
All right. So Muggin, how do you feel about red stars?
Okay, so here's my thing. One, I think they're dumb. Okay, the way that they're being rolled out, what they are at this time in the game, I think is stupid. I think that it could be a cool feature in a year. I think it could be something that would be beneficial for the game down the road. I think a lot of it has to do with poor timing, and I think a lot of it has to do with the RNG factor, which you guys have been over 1,000 times, so I'm not going to expand upon that much. But I think there are easy fixes that they could do that would make them better even now, which would be simply, things like instead of it being like, oh, you got this 3-star Punisher, well, you got a 3-star skill. So now you can make a decision of where to put that. And it's not like going, oh, you can just put it wherever you want. It's like, no, it's a skill 3 stars. So now you need to go find a skill character, or it's a bio, or it's a tech, or it's a mutant. It would still keep it it'd still give them their RNG that they love, but it would give you a little bit of choice so that you're not invalidating everything. But I think every game is going to get to a point where they need to find a new way to create progression in the game. Star Wars did it with Omegas, and then they did it with Zetas and stuff like that. I think the biggest problem here is messing with the star structure of the game. Is a fundamental, like, this is how stars work. We know what we get from stars. We get it. And it's a grind fest, but we can choose what we grind, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Versus, great, this guy, imagine the guys who's, like, my thing is the guys who score, if anyone scores anything from Shield or Fury that has Fury and red stars, it's game over, and that's a huge problem, for the people like me who are also going to get a monstrosity, like Dorian and Hebrew. But
I want a monstrosity right now.
Well, now you do, but you know what I'm saying. It's like, even if you have a 7-star, 7 red star aim monstrosity, in the end, while it's going to boost your stats and things like that, a bad kid is still going to be a bad kid. So, you might be stronger, you might be harder to kill, etc., but you're still not going to do what, the next guy who has a character with a good kit that has the same amount of red stars with you, is going to wreck your face anyway, right? So I don't know. I think, like, it's all about, these games are all about timing and doing things at the right time, the right way, and creating progression that's meaningful. And this right here is like a perfect example of the wrong thing at the wrong time, implemented the wrong way. You know what I mean? And it's something that, given more time and more discussion with the community, could be molded into something actually that I think could be kind of cool. But as it's written at the time of its release, I think it's a bogus system that's going to just, I honestly think that right now they're like Thanos snap, coin flip. Either this is going to go better than we expect, or it's going to be the mass exodus that kills the game, because I don't think there's going to be a middle ground here. It's you're either going to, when they give you those free ones, those free orbs, because you're going to get the Luke Cage, but then what was it, like 5 free orb pulls? Those 5 free orb pulls are going to make or break you for the next month or 2 months in arena and raid compared to everyone else. And whatever the next content is too. It's like, if they come out with, Ultimate 65 has been out for a while. Level 70 is the cap. We know they're going to raise the cap again. So U70 is somewhere out there, right? U70 will be balanced with red stars in mind. So if your raid teams don't have red stars, your guild just became no longer viable. That's not
screwed.
fair to anybody who's put any time, especially someone who's put money in the game. You could destroy entire guilds. This is going to create guild hopping. I'm the guy who got Fury. I'm not going to carry an entire guild of people and still only make 25% when I now. I mean, imagine that if you say you've got Fury and you got red starred out. I mean, you could get in any top 50 alliance that you would want. You know what I mean? It could instantly change the game for everybody. So I think it's really a bad idea. That's all it boils down to. I think it could be massaged into something meaningful in a year, but now's not the time.
Yeah, I agree with you. For me, red stars have really they're to fix a fundamental problem in the game, in the fact that when you power up and you rank them up, and actually there's been some back and forth with somebody, I'm sorry, I don't recall the names exactly, about the value of ranking up stars. And while they do give you a bit of a boost, I don't feel that it's in line with the amount of effort that you put in. So when you get somebody to 7-star, you shouldn't just be getting 300 or 400 damage. I mean, you should be getting a significant amount. Right. And I feel that overall, as you rank them up, you're not getting back. The star values aren't as valuable as they should be. And they're trying to fix that by adding in the red stars.
I think that, at the end of the day, sorry, I missed some of that just because I was trying to fix my router. But at the end of the day, so I just want to just clear something up real quick. Red stars are garbage and I hate them, and they should have never been introduced to this game until like years down the line. All right, continue.
All right. So I think we're all in agreement then. I'm not going to lie. I was worried that Muggin was going to say, hey guys, red stars are going to be a good thing.
I honestly believe that a year from now, done the right way, they could be a kick-ass addition to the game.
Right, that's the thing. It's not a year from now.
It can't. If you implemented it as they are preparing to implement it now, a year down the road, it would still be a hammered piece of shit. It needs to be rethought about how and what and why and where it does. And also, I also think that, the statement of a red star will multiply everything about your character, including your gear, is a bad.
Oh, that's horrible. That is so bad.
Because
now, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it so that it if you do the math and you look at like going from tier 10 to tier 11 to tier 12, it's almost like they just aren't giving you anything for it. For the effort that you're putting in, the amount of gold and resources and time that you're spending ranking up your characters is diminishing returns, right? The more you do, the less you're getting. Again, red stars are an attempt to fix a fundamental problem with the game of not giving you value for what you've put into it.
I'm not 100% in agreement with that, actually. Like, I think that the star system right now, I think that it should be amped up a bit more for what you get whenever you put in your stars. Don't get me wrong, because you aren't quite getting out enough from what you're putting in. But yeah, I think that the system in general that they have in place currently, at its core, it's okay. It just needs to be buffed up in that area. But red stars, whenever you introduce red stars with RNG, that makes no sense to me. It's the worst thing ever, just as Muggin was saying. So its implementation in that way will never work. It'll always be bad. And but the red stars themselves could work, but way down the line. Not right now, that's for sure. But I think that a system that could work, for instance, and this is just off the top of my head from one of the least creative people that you know, if you were somehow, like, if you're able to continue farming shards, granted now they go into Ultimus orbs, but I wouldn't even have a problem if that didn't happen anymore. But if you were able to continue farming shards or something like that and basically like restart the system, it would be like, it would be annoying because you still have to have the farming grind, but it would make more sense that way. At least you could still focus farm someone, and whenever you would get a red star by increasing that person's star again.
Like prestiging,
yeah, exactly.
Call of Duty, where you get to the top, you reset, you continue,
and then you restart.
But it's at the same rate. So to get your first red star would cost, like 15 shards, and your second one would be 50. So it would be at the same rate that you earned the beginning stars. And again, yeah, that would actually be a pretty good system, because
a much better system.
Farm what you want, and then whales can increase their farm speed by spending money in cores to refresh nodes and buy energy refreshes, and you don't leave anyone out in the cold. People will be able to progress through the red stars as fast as they were able to progress through the regular 7 stars, and to me that makes really good sense. I also think personally that it's a little weird that you can red star characters that aren't maxed out. Normally when you introduce something like this, like if you had a 3-star Punisher, there's no red stars available for you because he's not maxed out. And that also, I think, kind of skews it, because you're going to make, 2-star character with 2 red stars could be now beating out 5-star characters. Depending on what the multiplier is and stuff. And I don't know if this is kind of setting the stage for more things being blocked out based on star level, like the dark dimension you can only go in if you're 6-star. Maybe there's going to be raids that you can only go in if you're 6-star or something like that. I don't know. But
I have no problem with that at all. Look, we do that in Galaxy of Heroes. You cannot do a heroic raid unless you have 7-star characters.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with them locking things behind star value, because one of my biggest beefs about the whole thing was that, honestly, you didn't, until Dark Dimension, you didn't really have to worry about ranking anybody past 5 stars. Right? You could if you wanted to, and yes, you got a little bit better for it. But people were clearing Dark Dimension with 5-star shield. Like, just hitting auto and running a 5-star shield, right? And so,
well, you can't run at a 5-star shield.
A 6-star. I'm sorry, but you get my point. I mean, they're doing it at base level, at the basic level, right? They're just basically hitting auto and laughing as they go.
I mean, there's more strategy than that, but yeah, I mean, you can do it exponentially faster with Fury going through at 6 stars, with far less gear and everything like that than a lot of other teams. But just before I forget, I want to touch on 2 things real quick. One of the things that Muggin mentioned, that was one of my biggest concerns from the beginning. I just want to reiterate that this is another reason why, a big reason why this is a terrible thing, is because, just as he said, by introducing the red stars and allowing you to get them on characters that you don't really have started up to 7-star, they could be a 2-star and 2 red stars on them, it can very easily completely invalidate everything that you put into your main teams, because now it's dictating what teams you should level up based on where your red stars are at. If it's that much of a multiplier that we're looking at, which whenever you take in every stat performance in the game and then multiplying it, chances are that's going to be the biggest bonus to anything. So now just imagine yourself, you put in all of this work into all of these teams, and you're only getting red stars for teams that you don't have leveled up. Everyone's blowing past you, and you're going to have to give in and basically level up these garbage characters that the only reason why you're leveling up is because you're unlucky, and that's where your red stars landed. Red stars are going to end up dictating what you level up, and it's terrible. I don't want that. That's for sure.
I'm getting an early jump on it by starting to aim now.
That might be the best reason ever why you level up aim. Because you could legitimately end up destroying a Fury team that didn't end up getting red stars because you got all red stars on your aim team that's leveled up to no end. So but that's the kind of ridiculousness that this kind of system brings about. So if later on, like we mentioned, later on down the road, if this was introduced, you would have enough characters up there that chances are your red stars are landing on characters that you have leveled up to some degree. For newer players, it's always going to be kind of I can't imagine. I haven't really put myself in that perspective, unfortunately enough, but in regards to red stars specifically, but I think no matter what way you cut it, it's going to be really shitty for new players. But
because these new players get thrown into global shards.
Oh yeah, throw them into Blitz.
They throw them into Blitz.
30 days.
They get thrown into global shards. Oh my god! Look at what happened with Blitz with Start Tech. Can you imagine what's going to happen now with red stars? Holy shit! We're going to see 300k
and what's
going to
happen
teams.
And like I mentioned last time, what's going to happen with raids? They're going to use this as an excuse to bump up the raid difficulty. For everything, because they're saying, "Oh, well, you guys have the potential to be way stronger now with red stars."
If you spend the money,
they're
going to
apply red stars to all of their enemies. Exactly. So yeah, this is bad. This is bad. Let's continue on to good things.
Yep. So, yay, Magneto's here. I guess he's good. Who knows? We never saw anything. I mean, sure, they told us he's going to be good. I mean, is he? I don't know.
He is very good. I do know. He's very, very good. From what I've heard, you can beat a Fury team that's like 30, 40K above you with relative ease. So, they're very good. I heard that they pretty much smash everything PvP-wise. Raid-wise, I'm not so sure about, but just looking at it off the cuff, they're not going to be too great because they don't have a healer.
Yep.
So, and that's one thing that you need to sustain.
It's going to be weird because when we get into Magneto's kit, his kit is designed for a healer. So, I don't know. It's weird.
We'll have to get into that when the time comes because I'm not sure. I haven't looked a lot at his kit, so I don't know yet.
Yeah.
But you'll have to show me where you're looking at that. But I will say, I just want to mention to everyone. If you're looking at who to farm, if you should go after him, you should if you really like them or that's you are already on your way to them. But as far as an overall better team, Fury's still the best way to go because they're dominators in raid, they're dominators in arena. Every facet of the game they're incredibly good at. We're looking at Blitz and arena being the spot where Brotherhood will shine, not so much in raids. So I would still say if you want to pick one or the other, Fury's still probably the better way to go. And also you do end up getting, hopefully, eventually, a good Kree team out of it if they ever come up with that Kree update, which I recently found out, once again, won't be for a while. Or I guess confirmed that it's not going to be for a while. So, we'll have to see about that. But anyways, Muggin, have you messed around with them at all? Or I don't even know if you got them. I don't think you did, but have you heard anything about them, or were you going after them?
Brotherhood? No. That's outside.
I assume you were going mostly after Fury.
Yeah, I'm just focusing on Fury. I'm at the stage of the game and the amount of effort it takes to gear up an entire team. I probably at this point wouldn't really go after someone that's 100% arena based. Personally. While you get cores out of there, there's not as much benefit to your overall, growth as your team growth as there would be from having a raid team that can get all the way down a lane and use 65 to push your guild to the next level. You get so much more out of the raid store and the season rewards that it's way more important right now, I think, to be pushing raid than it is to be pushing that. Plus it also makes you it basically, and from what I understand, it kind of turns Dark Dimension into like a more normalized game mode because of how strong they are and how well that they can compete in that area, that it just it basically opens that game mode up to you, which while Dark Dimension is what it is, the end game of that with Ultron being behind it is definitely something worth going for. So Fury is the gateway to that, then why not, right?
Yeah. Now I'm curious still. I know this is kind of off topic from that, but I am curious to see, considering Fury, I don't know how this is the case, but they were apparently incredibly surprised that Fury was able to breeze through Dark Dimension.
Because they had no QA.
It's funny. Yeah. Well, I mean, literally anyone that runs through it with Fury can find that out in like a minute. So I don't know how they didn't know that, but that's what they claim. And so they said that, if I remember correctly, don't quote me on this, but if I remember correctly, they mentioned something about how that won't be the case with the next mode. And so I'm thinking maybe they added in something that directly counters Fury in a particular way, and maybe it has to do more with some Brotherhood situations and some synergy going on there. But yeah, anyways, so what did you guys think about the event itself? How far did you guys get into it?
2-star.
2-star?
Yeah.
What about you, Muggin?
I haven't even done it.
Didn't do it all? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, since I can't unlock them, I probably won't bother. But you know,
the Mega Orb was one thing that I was going through. I went through it as soon as I could, even though I can't do the 5th one yet. I'm waiting on Pyro, but I wanted to get those Mega Orb fragments. But did you pull anything from the Mega Orb, Dorian, or no?
I didn't get a Mega Orb. I did 2-star. I did the first 2 fights.
Wasn't there how many fragments? I don't remember how many fragments you got on the second one, but I guess
you get any?
Either way, you didn't
really?
pull one. I think you did. I don't think you did on the first one. I thought you did on the second one, but I could be wrong. 750 for the first one. Yeah.
So I don't have enough to open up a Mega Orb right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, someone was nice enough to put it up in the Discord for us. Anyways, I went through the story. I really enjoyed. I'm not going to say too much for people that haven't done it yet, but it was really nice, and they always do such a good job with that. I'm a fan of Magneto. I don't like how his cape. This is super nitpicky. I don't like how his cape goes through his legs, but it is what it is. What do you think about like his animation and the story that you saw? At least I know you haven't seen much of it, but
I like it. The story's good. Of course, I know what Asteroid M is. I know why they're doing what they're doing, but I will say that I do like what I've seen so far of the story.
Do you like his animation? Or I'm sorry, not his animations, but his character model?
The character model's okay. I'll be honest. I haven't really looked at it too much because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to unlock him.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a tendency to avoid things that I really want because they make me do stupid impulsive things like purchasing stuff I shouldn't be.
Yeah, maybe you're smarter than the rest of us then. But
hey, you said
it. But yeah, so I mean, either for me, it was good. I really enjoyed it. So we'll see what happens with Pyro. Hopefully, I should be able to unlock him. I think one way or another, I'll be able to get him. Either it's going to be from a good drop from one of his orbs, or it's going to be from the top 1500. Hopefully, it'll be orbs, so I don't have to keep going through Blitz because I hate it so much.
You better get 6
that's
million
probably
to guarantee that top 1500, man. I know the predictions are 4. That may be low.
I'm shooting for 4. If it's over 4, I can't go any further than 4. I'm going to be pushing incredibly hard to get 4. So if it's above 4, then it is what it is. I'm going to be pissed, and so be it. But I'm not dropping money on it to get the deal. And we'll see what happens.
This is the one where we need to watch for the cheaters.
Yeah, I mean,
the last one
I think
seemed
the last one
clean, but I want to keep an eye on this one.
Yeah, I mean, this one, considering there is no low level shard gain, yeah, I would agree with you. We'll see what happens, but anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next section.
Yep. So the payday event returned today. Are you guys able to move up tiers yet, or where are you guys?
I finally cleared 5.
Hey, congrats!
Nice.
I'm still like on 4.
Isn't it funny how much easier 5 is than 4? I don't know if you guys experienced, like, 4 was a little difficult because I didn't have a lot of people leveled up except for Deadpool. It was much higher, but it was still kind of a pain to get through. But in the 5th one, it's a breeze. Like, he just destroys everyone.
Yeah,
I have him at like
from 3 to 5.
Okay, yeah. Well, so yeah, that with for me, it's like everyone was at 10 or 12K, and then Deadpool is at like 28 or 29K, and he pretty much took out the whole team himself. So it was pretty nice. Rolled all of the gold orbs, and ended up getting all greens on every pull except for the last one where I got 200s and 1 green.
You did better than me.
You got all greens on all of them?
I got 1 blue.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, man.
Have you gotten a million yet in the game?
I think I got a million like once, like forever ago, but I'm pretty much all green and blue all the time.
Oh, wow.
Man, I've hit a million 3 or 4 times.
You guys
just the luck of the Jew, man.
I think so, yeah. I think this game's trying to keep us down because I have yet to get my million pull. It's an ongoing joke here. So, yeah, I really actually thought I don't know how, but I made myself believe that this was going to be the time that I got it because I was getting so many orbs. Nope. Once again, do not have it. So, anyways, let's go ahead and move on. Not too much to talk about on Payday.
Yep. So we're going to jump directly into the grab bag before we go into the character spotlight. So because we've got quite a few questions this week, I'm going to try to do these. We're going to do these one at a time. So Hebrew, you get the first one. I might jump on the second. Muggin third. So that way, unless you've got something that you really, really, really want to add to that topic. So, Hebrew, our first one is Flip McVan asked, with Red Star implementation around the corner, if Hebrew's first pull is Vision, will he finally concede his stubborn ways, or will Dorian be once again searching for a new co-host?
So if my pull is Vision, I'm going to, if that happens, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to quit, but I'm going to be incredibly upset, and it will be confirmed in my mind that they are truly fucking with me in this game. But I think, I won't quit. Flip. I think he secretly wants me to quit this game, but that better not be the situation. Let me just put it like that. It better not be the situation.
Personally, I think you'll finally break and give in.
No, I won't give in. I'm telling you that right now. I won't. There's no way. No, I won't do it. I'm not going to.
Until the first time you see what a Red Star Vision can do, and you just go, damn it.
No, I'm not going to do it. I don't care. I won't do it.
All right. So our next question comes from Brindo. Brindo is a guildmate from Star Wars. He asked, when are we getting Mysterio? I'm going to say never, hopefully. I'm not a big fan of the Mysterio character. Yay, holograms, woohoo. Sure, we've had some mutants that can kind of do the same thing as well. Way back in X-Men 1, 2, and 3. It's from 63 or whatever. I forget his name. But I just, I don't know.
Who is Mysterio exactly? Because I don't know who that is.
Mysterio was the guy with the glass dome head. He was a former stunt guy, not stunt guy. Stunt guy. And like set designer for movies. That had something happen, and he wound up wearing this like clear dome with smoke filled for his head. I'll send you pictures later.
Okay, but
he was a Spider-Man. Who was a Spider-Man villain?
Oh, okay, gotcha. I assume we're not going to be getting anyone. Illusions. Okay, yeah, I don't think he's in the upcoming movie, so I'm assuming that we're not getting him in this next Spider-Man event situation that we're going to have.
Get like 3 characters. So,
yeah, they did say 3. Ultimate Spider-Man's going to be 1. We know another one's Spider-Man related. The other one might be as well, but we don't know who those villains are probably going to be. Yeah, assuming they are villains. But I think it'll be the villains in the movie, which I'm not sure who it is yet, but I don't think it's Mysterio. So
yeah. So next we've got Spider Guy 22. Muggin, who do you think the next legendary character / event will be?
Captain Marvel?
Yeah, I think she's primed to be a legendary with her movie rollout. I don't know enough about her to say who would be needed to get her, but I think she would make sense for a legendary event. It's far enough away that they could put something together, and it's tied to kind of a big property. So there's an opportunity there. They could do Professor X maybe. And use the Brotherhood to get him to really just dig that knife in deeper to everybody. That would be fun.
No, the knife is going to be that you're going to need Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. to get Captain Marvel.
Fury and... Oh, you mean the opposite of Kree, because we had Kree to get...
Right.
Fury? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, then you need
I can
Fury
see that
and
happening.
S.H.I.E.L.D. to get her. I'll be ready, so at least I'll get her. But
yeah.
Yeah,
unless she's a 7-star unlock.
Well,
That one,
I guess, but I don't think they're going to do that yet. I mean, maybe they will, but I think if you look at the natural progression, at some point, legendaries will be required to get legendaries. So we'll see. I mean, she could be a raid. She could be a raid person, a raid character, but I think people are getting a little tired of that that distribution model, and I also think they need more legendaries in the rotation. They need more legendary characters in the rotation, or else it doesn't become as sought after, I guess I would say. When they're coming like every 2 months, it's like whatever. It's like, oh well, I missed him this time, I'll get him in 2 months. Whereas like in Star Wars, it's like, oh, I missed him, I won't get him for 5 months. Great, 6 months. Because the rotation is so long.
Yeah,
I assume that will just come with time, though, as they come out with more legendary characters.
Yeah, and the question is going to become, who are they gonna qualify as quote unquote legendary?
Right.
So I mean, they got to be characters that are going to be worth it. Like obviously Magneto's worth it. I don't know if I would have put Fury as a legendary. Iron Man. Maybe
I would have switched them. Actually, I would have put. Yeah. Well, no, never mind.
I probably would have put Captain America as a legendary over instead of Iron Man. To be honest with you.
That's what I was gonna say.
But yeah, so I agree that we need more. But I think Captain Marvel's a good call. That movie's 2 months out now. 3 months? Is it March or February that it drops? I want to say March 19th. I want to say. So I would imagine we're going to see the event around there. We may get one before then, but we'll have to see.
I don't think so, but yeah. So
next, Mike C 2015 asked me if you had the ability to make CG take over MSF on top of Swugga, Galaxy of Heroes, and put out equal amounts of quality content for both games, and implement many of the features like Galaxy of Hero raids and cadence character timelines in MFS and Galaxy of Hero Guide MSF style character stories as a new marquee event. But due to working on 2 games, they only get about half the content they got this year. Would you do it? So that's actually a really good question. So there are things that I love and hate about both companies, right? So Capital Games has created a great base for their game, and they've got some great game modes. For example, raids. I love the raid system because you've got basically X amount of time to complete a raid, but once you do it, you're done until you generate enough tickets. It's not hey, I got to log in every few hours because I've got energy to spend. And I calculated it out one time. I on an average, I want to say I'm on this game 3+ hours per day, and that's insane. For a free-to-play player to stay competitive, you got to be on it 3+ hours per day. And when I reached out to Fox Next, they were like, "Yeah, I've been on games with more." And I was kind of like, "That's."
I remember that.
That's you don't just go, meh. It could be worse.
I don't think it's terrible. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt your question, but I don't think that amount of time is terrible for a mobile game, considering how mobile games these days are very, very good as far as content is concerned. I mean, the games that they have out right now are as good as regular video games on consoles in a lot of cases.
So let me ask you 3 questions.
I don't...
Okay. Are you married?
No. Well, I know you have a lot more demands on your time as far as that's concerned.
I'm just saying, do you work 60 hours a week?
No.
Okay. Do you have kids?
No.
Do you have anything else that you would ever want to do other than play this game? 3 hours is a long time, man.
I definitely do, but
now that's an average out, and that's mostly because I try to do a blitz climb because I want the milestones. If I cut that out, I would probably save an hour or so on average per day. But I mean, if you want to stay competitive as a free-to-play player, you have to do that.
Yeah, and I just think that realistically, like spending, I do think it is on the high side, but I don't think that it's super crazy. And maybe that is just me, but I would say that, 2 hours of video gaming or so a day is probably understandable. I suppose.
Well, I think you're actually burning into like the next question actually at this point, which is
a little bit. So let me get back to this specific question though about CG.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
And the two different games. So I don't know if I would have CG take over, but I would like to see Fox Next adopt more a CG style. As for the working on 2 games, only get about half the content that they got this year. It depends on what half we lose. And honestly, with MSF, I would ask you, other than the deluge that we got for a brief time this summer, what real new content have we had? I mean, sure, we've got Dark Dimension, and then we got like the character events, and we got a different raid. I mean, there was a time when we had, as Muggins succinctly put it, the fire hose effect. And it's awesome that Muggins here, because when I read through this question, that was exactly what I was thinking was, we had a fire hose of content, but it was all kind of the same stuff. I mean, it was really just kind of a rehash of the same thing over and over and over again. And so I honestly, I'd be perfectly fine if we got half the content, as long as it was quality, what we got from both companies, to be honest with you. I do think that Fox Next needs to get better with their cadence. We need to know what characters are coming out. We need to know their cadence style. We need to know if characters are going to be farmable. If they're going to keep characters permanently locked behind paywalls, Black Widow, then that's to me, that's an unacceptable business model. That is not sustainable. That sure, you may get lucky enough to get her, but games shouldn't operate that way. You should be able to collect every character that's in the game in some fashion, even if it's a single hard node. So,
and it's also the fact that she's an incredibly good character locked behind a paywall. They know what they're doing there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like a monstrosity being locked behind a paywall.
Right. Hey, you never know, man. Give me a few weeks and I'll let you know. Mm-hmm. So, because he gets that offense up, man, he hits like a brick.
Right. Okay.
So, anyway.
Just going to disregard anything you say about A.
I run him in tier 1 of Blitz, man. He's awesome. So, I think there are some features from Galaxy of Heroes I would like to see: save squads, raids. But there are some things I would never want to see: marquee characters. Though I do like the storyline way that they do it for in MSF. I do like how they do their campaign events, and I do like the fact that we can run the campaign event for like a week or whatever, collecting these orbs, and you can get a character organically to 4 stars without really having to spend any money. In Star Wars, if you want a character to 4 stars and they're marquee, you got to buy the $10 pack, point blank. There's no other way to do it. Or you get you get lucky with some crystal packs. So I think we're gonna move on from that one. I think I've answered that one. Unfortunately, I've just been notified because it is getting late that we are going to lose Muggin. So Muggin, did you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Man,
it was fun. It was fun hanging out again. We'll have to do it again sometime. Don't give up just yet would be what I would say, and we'll see where the ride takes us. I mean, there's opportunities for failures and to learn from those failures. So hopefully, we have something to play in a month.
Yeah, that's well said.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, guys. Thanks again. I'll catch up with you.
Yep.
All right,
see you later, buddy.
Take care. Okay, so moving on, we're going to try to get through the rest of these. We got a lot of questions this week before we get to the character spotlight. So BMZR asked, here comes some math. It took me 30 blitz fights, 1.5 hours maybe, I'm very slow fighting, to get about 400 shards for the Pyro Orb. That means 150 fights for one full orb and about 5 to 7.5 hours of gaming for an average of 7 shards for a character where I need more than 100 times that to 7 stars. That's just absurd. I know it's grinding and farming and all, but how can they justify such bad reward? They want you to spend money. What would you think is appropriate, and do you think they lose people with such a bad reward system? Yes. I understand that they want people to play a lot and have the app open all day. Yeah. But why is that so important? So, Hebrew, I took the last one. You want to take this one?
Actually, you go ahead and take this one because I kind of want to do the next one.
Okay. So why is it important? So psychology and statistics show that the more engaged you are in a game, the more likely you are to spend money because you don't want to spend that time in the game. So to help you get things quicker, you will spend money to save yourself from that hassle, right? So it comes down to how much is your time worth? What you calculated 5 to 7.5 hours of gaming. Is your 5 to 7.5 hours of gaming worth $30 to just buy the pyro, the 55 pyro orbs and 55 pyro shards and 8 orbs? It's a cost analysis basically, and companies track engagement, and they track the engagement by how long the app is open, how much time is done doing things. They get all that data, and that's how they're able to kind of sell it to investors by saying people are engaged, and the more they're engaged, the more they will spend. So yeah, it's very important for you to be in the game as much as possible, as often as possible, so that you just get so frustrated at some point, you go, you know what? I want to play this game. $30 isn't that much. I'm just going to do it because it's like smoking a cigarette. The first one tastes really bad, but then you get hooked and you kind of need it after that because it just tastes good after that. After a while, that cigarette just tastes good. Man, I miss smoking. So that's kind of my take on that. And
I feel like you just endorsed smoking. It just tastes so good, man. Just get past that first one, bro.
No, I do not endorse smoking. I quit. I had to take Chantix. I smoked for 23 years. Do not do it. It's very bad for you. It's funny now. I live in tobacco country where they, they smoke the tobaccos to dry it out in the barns. Mm-hmm. So in the fall, it's just a haze all through my neighborhood. From the smoke from all the tobacco barns. I love it. I love the smell. I miss smoking sometimes. It really affects my wife's allergies, though, and she just winds up staying locked in the house. So then BMZR asks another question. Is it safe to say we will get Redhead someday, referring to Red Skull, and Hydra will also get some kind of rework or synergy with him? I hate to chase the meta and try to think ahead and be ready for stuff. Could this be an investment that pays off someday? Or are they too easy to farm, and so Fox Next will never rework them because that makes no money? Hebrew?
Yeah, so for this one, they will rework them at some point, but I think you are on to something with the fact that they were very easy to farm, and by the time that they get to them, everyone's already going to have them. I mean, at this point, people are far closer to being Red Skull accessible than people were for Kree to Fury. So I think because of that, the priority is not very high because they're not going to have a lot of people taking up offers. So yeah, I'm sure it will come, but it's just not going to come for a very good while, my guess is.
But I don't think you're going to need Hydra to get Red Skull because that's not how they work. That's not how they do things. I think you'll need.
I think that you're going to need it.
I think you'll need.
That's a good point.
Actual Avengers.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Now, everybody should pretty much have Avengers or have a good swath of Avengers at this point. Not Shield, but the actual Avengers. So, I could run a 5 or 6 star Avenger team easily.
Yeah, but then again, let me see. We already have Shield for Iron Man, right?
Who is an Avenger,
right? But that one kind of made sense. So that would kind of be similar to Hydra to Red Skull, I would say.
But see, Red Skull runs Hydra. Iron Man's not in Shield; he's an Avenger.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
Iron Man's not in Shield; he's an Avenger.
Is he marked as Shield in the game though, or no?
No.
Oh, he isn't. He's just marked as Avenger.
My phone's dead, so I can't confirm that. But I can't use him to get shield events, because then you could use Iron. Well, no, you could do that. No. I'm almost positive he is not.
I got him.
Okay,
nope. Yeah, you're right. He is just an Avenger. So yeah, maybe that will be the case, that we'll see Avengers needed to do that. Yeah, we're gonna have to see. You see, we needed Brotherhood though we need Brotherhood and X-Men for Magneto. So there's kind of a, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. They really haven't established a real clear pattern on what they're doing with that. So it's hard to say, but I think that that's a good option though. What Dorian said with Avengers, I think that that's definitely in fair play. I think that Hydra is also in fair play. So, but yeah, regardless though, at that point, either way with Avengers or Hydra, it's going to be farmed. So once again, the priority is low no matter what, right, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing him for a bit. Sorry to bog down that question so much, but continue.
Sometimes you got to get into the weeds, man. Why do you think I'm? Yep. Hey, look, I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack for it, but there's a I'm doing it kind of just for funs, for shits and giggles, but I'm kind of serious about this AIM thing, because I have a feeling they will be needed at some point, and they will get a rework. And I'm going to be sitting on 40K AIM, laughing at people that are going, "Holy shit!"
I mean, I think that I think AIM will also be needed eventually. So yeah, I mean, I think you are going to be right eventually, but I think it's going to be very far down the road. So
most likely,
we'll see.
So Easy Touch 77 asks, when will Fox next get back to current character reworks? Remember when they fixed Spider-Man? With these new buffs, debuffs, it seems like they're overdue to update older characters. Also, why are the Defenders better than the Avengers? Why? I'm gonna let you take this one.
Well, yeah. So first thing is, I think that they should get back to reworking other characters, because power creep is something that we are experiencing a lot of, and it's a problem. I've been preaching that it was going to be a problem since day one, whenever Fury was on its way out, and the Avengers team was far more dominant than, a variation of it was far more dominant than any other character in the game. Or a Crossbones related team. So yeah, I think that they need to get back to other characters ASAP, because there's lots of characters that need buffing. Hulk, Thor, right off the top of my head, there's a couple that really need it. Ronan, of course. So yeah, they definitely need to do that. And I don't want to get too much into we're only going to be teams, right? I like being able to break apart teams and having people work together. So it would be nice if not everything was so team focused, which I fear is the route that we're going. But that kind of leads into your next question. Why are Defenders better than Avengers? There's no reason why the Defenders are better than Avengers. The only reason why is because they came out later due to power creep. Like, they were due for a rework. They got their rework after Fury. So the Fury, the new top end was set with Fury, so they needed something that was at least comparable to some degree. So they came up with Defenders. If Avengers, or when Avengers gets a rework, I promise you it will probably be better than Defenders. That's the problem with not setting a standard and just trying to increase the bar every single time whenever you do a rework in order to sell more of that character. Because if you promise that this character is going to be way more powerful than every other character, people are going to buy it. But what happens whenever you do that to the meta? It increases it.
Right.
So, yeah. So that's probably answering both of those questions right there.
Yeah, and I agree 100%. There's zero reason the Defenders should be more powerful than the Avengers.
Yeah.
And look, everybody knows how much I love Daredevil and Luke Cage and Iron Fist and Punisher and Jessica, and they just shouldn't be. So I'm going to take the next one. So Hulk Smash 50 asks, with Groot as the December login character, do you think his long-awaited rework is imminent? I'd like to say yes, but I just can't. They haven't shown, like, their login characters don't really seem to indicate anything. It's almost like they're just picking somebody. So I don't see where they have that. It's not like in Galaxy of Heroes, usually the login character, leads to some it's some tie-in to that month. Had they made Spider-Man the login character, with the new Spider-Verse characters coming, that would have made sense. Groot, I don't know. I just feel like they're picking characters at random. They're throwing a dart at a dartboard to see who they're getting. So I'd love to see that rework coming. I still think it's going to be sometime next year, and it's probably going to be after Captain Marvel. So that's my thought on that one. What do you think, Hebrew?
Yeah, no, I agree with what you said right there, for sure.
Okay. So Pope Jesus Christ asks, will you guys play Murder, Marry, Make Love with Marquis and minions listed below? So, Hebrew, this one's all you. So, Marquis, Hulk, Ronin, and Scientist Supreme. I feel like that's kind of a gimme here, but...
yeah, so I'm going to make sweet, sweet love to Scientist Supreme. I am going to probably murder Ronin, and I guess I'm going to marry Hulk. We're going to have a civil union. It'll be a nice wedding, low-key. And there will be no special night afterwards.
But Hulk may have other ideas. Anyway.
That's true. I don't really have a choice. If he wants something to go down, I don't think I can do anything about it.
Okay, so then for the minions, AIM Monstrosity, Shield Trooper, and Hydra Grenadier.
Wow, this one's a lot more difficult.
Yeah, it is.
Well, my murder AIM Monstrosity for sure. Let me see. I don't want to marry a Nazi. That's bad for my brand right there. This is tough. Can I kill myself? Is that an option on this?
I don't think that was one of the options.
Yeah, I guess I would. You know what? I'm going to change my mind here. I'm going to murder the Hydra Grenadier because I'm Jewish and he's a Nazi. We don't get along, so I'm going to murder him. I'm going to make sweet love to Shield Trooper, I suppose. And then I'm going to marry AIM Monstrosity because that's not too different from Hulk, I suppose, and I would already be ready for it. Yeah, that's probably it. It's an interesting question.
Yeah, that's why I gave it to you. All right. So Carden, let's see. Hold on, I gotta get back to the show notes. Okay. How do the two of you feel about the current rate at which new characters are added to the game? Do you think they can't add them fast enough? They need to slow it down, or do you find it to be just right? Also, do you think more characters should be added that aren't connected to upcoming Marvel movies? I actually like their character cadence for adding new characters. I do think that they're extended a bit too long. Sometimes, you got the character campaign for a week, and on top of that, you've got maybe a raid for a month. I mean, it's too long for one character. I don't like, they were doing things really nice where it seemed like every couple of weeks they were adding a new character. So I appreciated that. I would like to maybe see it a little bit quicker. Not everybody needs a story. Not everybody needs a reason to be here. We didn't get reasons for the original drops. There's no reason that we have to have a reason for everybody else. Do you think characters should be added that aren't connected to upcoming Marvel movies? Yes and no. Yes, simply because you get tired of knowing kind of what, or guessing, being able to guess what's coming. But at the same time, I say no because you want to have some tie-in. And so you kind of want to generate some buzz around your game based off the movies and vice versa. Well, anybody playing this game is probably going to be a Marvel fan anyway. So, but you want to generate some buzz or have a way to be able to introduce it to new people. So, I kind of say yes and no to that one. Hebrew, do you have anything different?
I'm a narrative guy, so I like having a little bit of story with my characters being introduced. But you're right. I think to a certain point it's a little unnecessary, or I shouldn't say unnecessary, but inefficient to do so for each character. But I think that the current character cadence is okay. I think it could be a little faster for me, just because I like newer things faster. But I think that it's probably okay-ish. I do get very confused whenever they add new characters into the game that we can't get yet, like Okoye and things like that, and Red Skull and stuff. You know, I just attributed Red Skull to being like a character that's eventually coming, but he was already in the game, and they just decided last second to not have him yet. But then they released Okoye, and I was like, oh, okay, but we can't use her. So I'm not sure. I'm also not sure if I like that as a tease or not. So I don't know. I have to do soul searching on that. But either way, yeah, I think it could be like just a little bit quicker. But as far as being it always being tied to a movie, I'm indifferent on it. Yeah. I'm not a good person to ask this question to, I suppose.
Considering your taste in movies, that's fine. So we are so brutal. We are just brutal.
You're like the only person I've ever met that likes the new Harry Potter movie. So,
oh, you're insane. So anyway, let's see. Now we're just going to move on to the character spotlight. And this week's character spotlight is the one and only Master of Magnetism, Magneto. So all our lore origin descriptives come from the Earth 616, the Prime Marvel Universe. And so most people are probably familiar with Magneto from the X-Men movies. Both the original trilogy as well as the new class movies. In that universe, he is Eric Lyncher. He is not Eric Lyncher in Prime 616. He is actually Max Eisenhart. So Max Eisenhart, aka Magneto, the Master of Magnetism, is a powerful mutant who has the ability to generate and control magnetic fields. Magneto regards mutants as evolutionary superior to humans and rejects the possibility of peaceful human-mutant coexistence. He aims to conquer the world to enable mutants, whom he refers to as Homo Superior, to replace humans as the dominant species. His first appearance was in X-Men #1, September 1963. So, didn't really go into his origin. Hebrew and I were reading it earlier, and we were just like, man, there's really not a whole lot here.
Yeah.
Or there's a lot of fluff that really doesn't play into what we care about. So,
yeah,
rather than going through all that, and this may be what we do going forward, is give more of this general overview.
Yeah.
So, if you like the general overview better than like an in-depth, more lore origin, let us know. If you like the lore origin, please let us know as well. You know, we do the show for you. We want you guys to want to listen. All right, so let's talk about his kid a little bit. So he's got a lot going on here, Hebrew. I mean, just a whole ton. So his basic is magnetic force, where he attacks primary target for 220% damage plus 20% piercing. And that changed to 1 to 2 additional targets for 190% damage and 20% piercing. Just as a disclaimer here, all this data is coming from msf.gg, and it is maxed out abilities. So his first special is polarized beam. Where he attacks the primary target for 240% damage plus 20% piercing. He applies disrupted for 2 turns. He applies slow for 2 turns. He removes all positive effects, and the attack is unavoidable. That's crazy. That's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot of stuff going on there. Although I'm not sure thematically where polarized beam comes from, because that's not what he does. But okay. Unless there's something I'm just not thinking of. It's not registering. Right. Let's see. His ultimate is Magnetic Vortex. Magnetic Vortex pulls all enemies up to 2 spaces towards the primary target. He then attacks the primary target and adjacent targets for 240% damage. He then applies blind. The attack is unavoidable, and it cannot be countered. That's another crazy one, because at max he's just pulling in everybody. You target the center person if you can, if they're not if there's not a taunter up, you're hitting everybody for 240% of his damage. That's That's really, really nice. Now, let me look up something real quick because I forgot to. I've been trying to do this, and I apologize that it's been kind of hit and miss. I have not pulled up things like damage. So at level 70, gear level 12, his damage is 9,615. So he's hitting for 240% damage on that. He's going to be hitting for 25K non-crit. I mean, that's crazy. That's just oof. That's an ultimate ability. What can you say? Now his passive is where it gets really interesting, and this leads to the comment I made earlier, where Magneto and the Brotherhood are designed for a healer, but they don't have one. So his passive is on spawn. He fills his speed bar by 15%. Then he fills his speed bar by another 15% per Brotherhood ally. So if you're running with 4 allies, that's another 60%. So he's starting with a 75% speed bar at the word go. Here's where it starts to get interesting, though. On an enemy crit, he applies speed up to himself and all Brotherhood allies. All Brotherhood allies gain 15% focus. He gains 50% focus. He gains 15% max health, and Brotherhood allies gain 15% max health. So I'm now reading this, and I'm realizing where I think I went wrong. When I read this, I was thinking every enemy crit, they were gaining 15% max health. That's wrong. I think they just get it at the start.
God, no, I wish.
Well, there are characters in Galaxy of Heroes that will do things like that, where if they apply something, they're getting max health increases, or they're getting protection increases. So that's why I didn't see this as being, out of line, especially considering they don't really have a lot of health steal. They don't have a healer. This wouldn't break the game for me. But then you start adding in, you just take one Brotherhood out, you put Night Nurse in there, and that's a crazy sustain team.
Yeah. You'd have Fury or something.
Yeah. So that is not the way it works. I'm reading it now and I'm like, oh wait, they just gained 15% max health, which is nice still. Because Magneto, Magneto at max is about 70K. So you give him 15% of that. That's a nice chunk. You're going to take him up to what, 85, maybe 80, 85. Getting late. Quick math, not my best friend. So going to this strategy wise, I mean, obviously you're going to run him with Brotherhood. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if you've got Magneto, you obviously have Brotherhood. You're almost always going to run him with Brotherhood, but I do think that he would work really well in a debuff heavy squad, such as that Scarlet Witch Vision squad that I run. That's extremely debuff heavy. I think that he would work well there. But obviously, if you've got Magneto, you've got Brotherhood. There's no reason not to run them together.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. So yeah, his big thing here is that this is one of the things I love and hate about Magneto, is the fact that he is the Brotherhood synergy. There's pretty much no other synergy with the Brotherhood team besides him. So it's kind of annoying because I wish that they would have spread it out a little bit more, like I mentioned previously. And I've seen a lot of posts on this too, so I'm not the only person that wishes this, but I kind of like the idea of, what they did with Thor and Captain America and Daredevil and Punisher, where you can kind of piece them out, but they work together in the team. But here you don't have any of that. It's all pinned on one person. And so if you don't have that one person, everything's ruined. Like you don't really have that synergy as a team anymore. And that's annoying to me. So yeah, but looking on the other side of that, he gives a lot to the Brotherhood team. I mean, he makes the Brotherhood team the force that it is to be reckoned with. Whenever you come out of the gate, you pull them all together, you blind everyone. It totally screws up the Fury team and everyone. It's unavoidable. So you're going to get screwed by it no matter what. And, it sets the stage for your pyro, and, it's cake from there. So, yeah, it's a really good team. Obviously, it destroys everything in front of it as far as a kind of PvP situation, but, you bring them into raids, there's no healer, as Dorian pointed out. So there's you're not going to be taking them into raids or anything, but yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's a pretty. What's the nice way to put this? It's kind of like a dumb-proof kit. Like, you're going to smash the ground with this kit. Like, there's no way that you can really screw it up. It's made to just blow things apart. So yeah.
I still think Jessica and the Defenders have a good chance against it. At least
I do.
When you're controlling their team, because Magneto's going to go before Jessica, and so all those debuffs that they're applying, they're going to go away. They're just gone.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, here's the problem. It does a bunch of damage, so you throw that down. You are going to get debuff with the blind. Pyro is either going to go right before her, or right before Jessica Jones, or right after, depending on one of your characters getting a crit off or damaging him, if I remember correctly. So, but once again, once you do have all those debuffs on you, if you're still alive, then you can cleanse everyone, which is nice. I think that the person or the group that does have the chance against them is the Defenders. We can figure this out very soon. I wish that this would have been, a little bit more next week, because I don't have my Brotherhood team, because I would have already taken them up against the Defenders. But yeah, we'll have to see how it plays out. But I think that they definitely have a shot. That's for sure. We'll figure out more within the next day or two. But anyways, as far as the team itself is concerned, and Magneto, very good. I just wish that the buffs would have been, the synergy buffs for Brotherhood would have been spread out amongst the other characters as well. So, but yeah, it's a really good team.
Yeah, I can see where it's going to be. It's going to be really, really hard for Fury to take down, and it's going to be. It's gonna definitely change up the meta, because not everybody's gonna get Magneto. So, just like not everybody had Fury. So
isn't it crazy also that this is more talking about the Magneto event itself, but I think that it's just so dumb that we are unlocking Magneto and have the Brotherhood team without having a chance to farm one of the Brotherhood characters. You know what I mean? Like, no one. Yeah. Very rarely does anyone have Sabretooth to go into this. And I think it's just the dumbest thing that we're getting the legendary character of the group that we don't even have one of the side characters of. I think it's just really stupid. And I think that for unlocking him, it should have been X-Men, not the rest of the Brotherhood characters, or it should have been all Brotherhood characters. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not a mix, because that just doesn't make thematic sense to me.
Yeah, so it's funny. Number one, I do agree with you. Number two, I was just browsing through Twitter earlier, and one of the other content creators saw a Brotherhood team. I want to say it might have been Arena, but it might have also been Blitz, and that it was. I want to say it was like a 190 or 200K power Brotherhood team. I'll see if I can find that again. It was Valley Flying, if I remember correctly. And he was like the very definition of a mismatch. But that team had a Sabretooth. And I'm like, that dude dropped some cash right there. That guy dropped some coinage to get a Sabretooth for that team.
How many stars was it at?
It didn't say. He only showed the how you see the teams facing each other with their powers.
Mm-hmm.
That was all it saw, all it showed. So I don't think he even went into the fight, and so you don't really have a way of knowing the star levels of the people you're going up against.
Right.
So
no, I would agree.
I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. Well, maybe you would run a 2-star Sabretooth or a 3-star Sabretooth.
I would still run a. I mean, the person that I would replace on the team is Mystique. So
I think Mystique was in that team.
Mystique was in that what team?
The team that that was on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I'm just talking about in general. I'm saying
okay.
So like I would definitely run a whatever the base is. I think it is 2 stars. To unlock Sabretooth, I would totally run that because he's really strong. But I think the weak link is Mystique, and I would replace her for like Venom. I think another big one that's coming out is Kingpin, and I forgot the third one. But there's 3 big fill-in characters, and you can use them in place of Sabretooth for the time being, or you can, I think, switch her out for Mystique because she's in my mind the weakest link out of the bunch. So yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah. Now in Discord, I just jumped on Twitter while you were talking, and I got a picture, and you can see the team that he was going up against. It was Blitz, and it was a 191k team, and that, even though it says Commander, it is not a Commander team.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, it's probably like, I mean, so like even Chewie has Sabretooth, I think, to like 3 or 4 stars.
Right. So but I mean, you're not gonna run. You don't have a 191k team with a 3-star Sabretooth or a 4-star Sabretooth.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. Sorry, I was like, I guess only partly paying attention there, because I was also trying to figure out some more information on the Brotherhood versus Defenders situation.
Right.
But yeah, I can continue.
So no, I guess the just from that picture you can see, there's no way that's a 3 or 4-star Sabretooth. That's a 191k team. He's got Magneto, Mystique, Pyro, Juggernaut, and Sabretooth. This guy dropped some coin.
Yeah, I mean, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, considering it was when Assassin was on, did the math, and it I mean, sure, he may have gotten lucky, but on average, it was going to cost around 3k to get Sabretooth. Mm-hmm. Somebody really wanted Magneto. Wanted Magneto. So
that is true. I did figure out, let me just go ahead and mention one thing real quick.
Yeah.
So it seems like on offense, so if you are going up, if you're Brotherhood and you're going up against the Defenders, you can wreck them. If the Defenders are on, if the Brotherhood is on defense, so the AI is controlling them, and you have Defenders, it seems like you can win if you have Punisher, because typically the AI doesn't target Punisher. Right. So you manage to usually stay alive, and then you can take him out, which obviously makes sense because you have the gigantic damage increase with Punisher versus villain, so that works out well.
Right, and honestly,
it's still a pretty close call from what it looks like.
Right, and I might take Punisher out and put in Miss Marvel for the assists and the extra buff, because Daredevil gets bonuses for villains anyway without Punisher. So I don't know, and Miss Marvel gives you extra energy regen. So
the only problem is that team is very very AoE centric, and Miss Marvel works well against detracting single target damage to her. Don't get me wrong, she still has her benefits with the assists and everything like that. But one of her biggest things is the content taunt offs. But so you're going to kind of miss out on a lot of that from Brotherhood. But yeah, that's a fair assessment. I think it's something worth trying out for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll give it a shot and see how it goes.
There's going to be lots of experimenting in these next few weeks.
I've actually taken to in Arena running a brawler team on offense just for fun.
Yeah,
so I take in Daredevil.
Are you talking about brawler team including Miss Marvel or
yes?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Daredevil, Iron Fist, Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Miss Marvel. It's a fun team on offense.
Right. We got a question from the audience of how do you think Brotherhood versus Brotherhood would go? I think that it would be. I haven't experienced it yet, so I don't know. I'll tell you in a few days. But
it's probably going to be RNG dependent, depending on who the defense targets. Because if it's a full Brotherhood team against a full Brotherhood team, It's really kind of random on which Magneto will go first. And
the focus first resistance as well.
Right. The focus first resistance, some RNG factors, who they target. I really think that you're down to just a kind of a coin flip.
Yeah, which is usually the case in mirror matches anyways. But
right.
Yeah. Unless you're looking at a big power deficit or something, obviously. Then
right.
The other one has a huge advantage. But yeah.
Yep.
I think that pretty much closes up the Magneto front.
I agree. So, we're clearing in on 3 hours now, and I can hear my voice, man.
We did well last episode with an hour and a half too. I just want to say
I have an audience, man.
That's true, but I vowed that it would happen, and it happened. I said we'd be under 2 hours, and it happened.
Yeah, yeah, and that was even with your 30-minute rant. Exactly. But before we head out of here, we got to talk about the thing of the week, man, and the thing that everybody has stuck around for. They want to know who you farming.
So for me, I am still farming Brotherhood as of now. I'm trying to get those last few pyro shards. I'm not worried about getting them to 6 stars at all because they're not going to be like something that I'm really going to need for DD or anything. So I'm really focusing now full force on my shield team and my Kree team. I want all of them to be 6 stars so I can get my 6-star Fury, and I can bring all of my shield team into DD. So, we'll see what happens with that. Right now, it's obviously just getting the Kree up because I don't have to wait for an event to get my shield up to 6-star. I can just do that in the meantime once I get that 6-star Nick Fury. So, I'm really just focusing everything on that now. It's going to be, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to pull off the 6 stars like I was before, because before I was going to be throwing down on some package deals for shield whenever they came up, but no longer am I buying until they fix the system. So we'll see what happens with that.
So can I ask you an honest question on that?
Yeah,
you've put in a lot of time and a lot of effort. If you wind up being a few shards short of pyro, you will not buy the pyro offer.
I will not buy the pyro offer. I don't give. Okay. I honestly, I don't. So I would be more tempted if it was Fury. If I was a couple shards short for Fury, I would be more tempted. But for Brotherhood, meh. I already have defenders keeping me up very high in the arena.
Right.
And I do very well in Blitz, obviously, if I can, am on track to make it for top 1500 for the Pyro Blitz, and I don't even play Blitz anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So really arena would be the only thing that I would factor into. So, no, I'm really not too tempted by Brotherhood. I would be far more tempted with Fury. So we'll see what happens. And I stayed true to the no spending whenever I stopped spending before until I felt things were turned around. And I didn't drop a dime until I felt things were turned around. So I'm committed to not spending until they. My line in the sand was, which I even told our contact was, until a VIP system or at least something like that, where basically spenders are shown appreciation of some kind.
Right.
Until something like that is implemented, I'm not going to spend again. I'm okay being a free-to-play player from now on. So,
all right, man. I respect that. Principles and conviction. I'm behind that. So, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, man. I'm not spending another dime on this game.
Yeah. Now let me go ahead and say.
And look, I'm not saying I've spent a lot of money. I've spent like what, $25 or something.
Yeah, you spent
so it's not like I'm a big spender or I do it frequently. But man, even the tempting offers are just nope. I'm not even gonna do it. Not even to finish off like Daredevil or not Daredevil, but Deadpool. I could buy the orb fragments or whatever, and just not gonna do it.
Yeah, I agree, and. I just want to preface with, kind of to echo what Megan said, really. Like, I'm not saying the game is dead. I'm not saying that the game is terrible. I'm not saying that Fox Next is totally, evil. I know, Dorian, you might disagree with that right now, but
no, I think the business decisions that they're making are horrible.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was about to say. I think the business decisions that they make are terrible, and they are incredibly short-sighted. They lack vision entirely, and
Like you.
that's right. Yes, I indeed
can't take
have
full
no
credit
vision.
for that one. I can't
I
take
have no
full credit
vision
for
as
that
well.
one.
Oh yeah, wait, who said that one? Oh, that was
Pope
Pope.
Jesus.
Well, yeah. So I also lack vision, but yeah. So, but they lack real vision as far as business.
So do you.
But anyways, yeah. So I think that it's a much bigger issue that they need to address within the game itself, and I think there definitely are some ethically shady things that they're doing as well that they do need to just really fix up. And I think that it has to do with the fact that, you know, the suits are kind of testing things back out. We were really steering everything in the right direction before, and this is why I'm making such a stance, because I feel like I sound so cliche by doing this, but we can make a difference. Yep. We've shown it before. Things were going in the wrong direction. Everyone kind of rallied together and said, "No, this is dumb. This is bullshit." And, you know, Polygon got involved, and I'm really thinking about trying to get Polygon involved again, because the way that we're going right now is back to what we were seeing before. And even the past like 2 or 3 weeks that we've done this, I've mentioned that specific thing where I feel like, you know, this is, you know, X is reminiscent of Y, and so on and so forth. And so yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. But I think that there is you know, there's a lot of things that they need to fix, and I think that I encourage people to do the same. You know, whether you do or not, you're not going to hurt my feelings. But I would say I would encourage people to do the same if you want to really have a shot at seeing some change happen in the game again. Because, you know, like whenever I saw milestones, like whenever I saw that milestone, like you needed to spend to complete a stupid milestone, I was like, this is one of the greediest things I've ever seen. And then that was followed up by this deal. Like, it's not going in the right direction. And so we need to remind them who really controls this game.
Right.
You know, at the end of the day, we vote with our dollar on everything we do. And so we need to show them who's boss here, I think. We need to draw our line in the sand collectively.
All right, man. So, good stuff. I am still working on getting farming. Still working on getting my defenders up to 6 or 7 stars. Sorry, I'm trying to move us on. I gotta go to bed. I gotta get up in like 5 hours. You know, still working on my defenders every day. Black Panther and Groot and Doctor Strange. Strange pretty much only because I want to, not because I mean I use him in a blitz team. I wish there were others that I could farm, but I'm not entirely joking about the whole aim thing, simply because why not?
Dear Lord,
you know, we'll see. We'll see what winds up happening. I just dropped 80k gold on one of them to rank them up. So I did it before when we first started recording at the beginning of the show.
That doesn't make it better.
Hey, in 6 months, I could be looking like a genius.
Yeah, you could.
I could also be going, man, I really regret that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now.
But you know what, though? It's you gotta have fun, right?
Yeah.
So just from me joking around about, or even possibly being serious, you'll never know. We're having fun again about this, right? Just because it's fun. Mm-hmm. This game has become too much of a grind. My raid participation has lacked the past few days. I'm sorry, Alliance. You know, normally I can get in the top, right? And I'm hitting like 15, 20. Just because I'm just doing token. And it's not fair to them, and I've got to pick that up. And guys, I'm sorry, I'll pick that up so that we're not struggling. But it's so much, man.
I know where you're coming from right now, especially. There's a lot happening, and yeah, it's very not only demanding, but it's you know, a lot of the same stuff that we're seeing. So it feels really repetitive. So, during these times, whenever we have so much going on, I totally understand burnout. And that's one of the biggest problems with this kind of fire hose effect, as Muggin said. So, yeah, I totally understand that. And I think there are ways to kind of try to deal with that during these times. But yeah, there's no way that you're going to completely avoid it. And that's something that you kind of have to, get ready for with these games. Unfortunately, you're playing 2 of these games. So very in a hardcore manner. So it's probably really demanding on you.
To be honest, Galaxy of Heroes, I can do a lot of that. I'm
quickly.
Really in game there. It's pretty quick. Even the raids that take a while. So I'm on there an hour, maybe hour and a half at most. I can auto through almost everything, and they've given you the ability to auto through almost everything.
And that is good, but I suppose I was saying more of a, it's just more to remember to do. Like, so you have like almost a list of game things to do each day.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm actually playing like 4 games right now.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I picked up Star Trek Commander.
Christ. How much time do you have to get? Because we were talking about time before. Mine doesn't seem so bad now.
So there's Star Trek Commander. There's Star Trek Fleet Command. There's this game. There's Disney Heroes, and then there's Star Wars. I've stopped playing the Harry Potter game, but the Star Trek Fleet Command and the Disney Hero, they don't take that much time from me.
Right.
So,
that's interesting, but yeah. I'm sorry,
Flip, that could be a very valid point. It may be that I just go, I like Star Trek Fleet Command, but I don't have time to devote to it. And it kind of sucks, some of the stuff they've done. We're going to get derailed. So anyway, that's who I'm farming. And that's what I've been working on. So, Hebrew, is there anything else that you would like to add tonight?
Yeah, just, we really appreciate just kind of the basic stuff. We really appreciate everyone coming out and listening. We have a lot of listeners today. We love it whenever you guys join in, and we have a lot of fun with the audience. And just all of our Patreons, thank you very much. I know we have some in the audience right now as well. Muggin, thank you for coming in. I organized that for a Dorian surprise. and he'll be back, on occasion to kind of join in with the fun. But just want to leave with a blanket message. Just reiterate what Muggin said. Just don't give up. Keep working. Keep up hope. And things will hopefully get better. And if not, we will all collectively work to try to improve them.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly mirror those sentiments. The game's not dying. It's not dead. It's just they've made some dumb business decisions, and they'll recover. Hopefully they learn from it, and it gets better and stays better. That's the thing, right? It didn't stay better from the Polygon article on. It got better, and now we're going back. And so just guys, come on, stop. Whoever's making these decisions, shove them in a closet. Let them play with some crayons and tell them to stop because they're just stupid.
Come to think of it, sorry, I don't even know if I'm super allowed to say this, but I really don't care. I don't think it affects anything because it's nothing. But our contact wasn't even aware of that offer that dropped whenever it came through. And that leads me to believe that we know where his place is, and like where the people he's by and everything like that.
Right.
That leads me to believe that it really is something more like, the suits, there's an algorithm to this, and, the suits are in a different side of the building making their own decisions, and the contact between the two, the actual game developers and the people making the offers, I feel like there's getting an increasing disconnect, because even he was surprised.
Maybe the problem is
the
problem is that there's artwork, there's text, there's programming that goes in for those offers. There's not that much of a disconnect. So I don't know where
price
that's coming
is very. You're right. There's a little bit more to it. It's a two-sided coin, but at the same time, it doesn't take much to change, a 10 to a 1. You know what I mean? So anyways, it's an interesting thing. I have a feeling that there's kind of been a totally speculative, but I have a feeling that there's just been kind of a growing disconnect between the two. At least that's what I'm going to say to make myself feel better.
Yeah.
So, because we've spoken to these guys before,
yeah, and look,
and they're nice guys.
Yeah, and look, he listens to the podcast, and please don't think that. Please do not think we are upset with you or we're negative towards you in any way, shape, or form. It's the overarching structure. You're a hell of a guy. You've been straight up with us, as on as much as you can be, and so we really appreciate it. So. Anyway, so I just want to thank everybody again for listening to the show, for sticking around. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can by contacting us through Gmail at theravagerreport@gmail.com. You can join us on our Discord server at discord.me/Ravager Report. If you do like what you hear and you'd like to help support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/Ravager Report, where we have subscriptions ranging from $2 to $20. And we are debating adding in higher tiers for funsies. Other than that, I don't have anything else for this week. Hebrew, just the final anything?
Nope, I am good to go.
All right. Well, until next time, keep fighting, true believers.